vocal moments. Like there's the clean close shave and bring my Cameron home or whatever.
Yeah.
Let my Cameron go. Yeah, he does a few of them in those movies.
Very funny.
Perfect. All right, we ready?
We're ready.
Got some entertainment stories. This is sad news. Cissy Houston, gospel icon, mother of Whitney Houston, passed away at 91 years old.
Yeah.
She was under hospice care for Alzheimer's disease. Known for her deep faith and music legacy, she was a key figure in her family's life and career. Houston's 7-decade career included working with legends like Elvis Presley, Jimi Hendrix, Bette Midler. I mean, the biggest of the bigs. She won 2 Grammy Awards for gospel albums. And she began her career as a singer in 1938 when she joined her sister and 2 brothers in the group The Drinkard Four. And then she formed her own group in 1963, Sweet Inspirations, with her niece, Dee Dee Warwick.
That's right.
Yeah, Dionne Warwick is related to Whitney Houston.
Right.
And she also had her own solo career as well. She recorded a duet with Whitney in 1987 called Know Him So Well. But, I mean, Whitney would not have been Whitney.
No, introduced her to gospel,
her mom leading the way. So.
She also, I was surprised to learn she was the bassist for Mott the Hoople.
What? No, I didn't know that.
I think
that
you
might be inaccurate.
I don't know. Speaking of musicians, Taylor Swift is now the richest female musician with an estimated net worth of $1.6 billion. According to Forbes magazine, the singer has passed Rihanna, who's worth $1.4 billion. Swift's Unstoppable Eras tour, worth an estimated $600 million in royalties and touring. The music catalog worth north of $600 million, and real estate worth an estimated $125 million are part of the reason why she is now considered the most wealthy.
So music-wise, she has Rihanna's Fendi is responsible for a lot of her fortune, her fashion line.
But last year, Taylor became the first ever billionaire solely on songwriting and performing.
Isn't that crazy, man?
So it's all about her craft. That's it,
so
nothing else.
What, her and Bachman Turner Overdrive at number 2.
Right.
Yeah.
No, I don't know who's number 2. Her financial portfolio was only bolstered in the past year as Swift brought her 3-hour show to 21 cities across Asia, Australia, and Europe. Every stop got an economic boost as well. Swift's 4 nights in Tokyo pumped an estimated $228 million into the country.
Wow.
In Sydney, Australia, she made an estimated $43.3 million in merch alone.
It's amazing.
Nearby countries upset the singer had an exclusive contract with Singapore, complained that they didn't receive the Eras Tour Golden Touch. So these other countries were getting mad because she's not bringing this economic boost into their
It's like when countries
economy.
like solicit for the Olympics. Or they want the Taylor Swift tour to come in because it's an economic boom.
She is that big of a powerhouse. She has 18 shows left on her 2-year magnum opus. The show returns to Miami on October 18th and officially ends on December 8th in Vancouver, Canada. Of course, she was at the football game last night.
So with the 3 hours, there's no opener, or is there an opener for a Taylor Swift show?
Not sure.
That's a long show.
She has a ton of material.
She does.
She could fill 3 hours. Marissa knows here.
Yeah, there is an opener, and it's a big deal to be her opener because for the same reason, like Harry Styles was her opener, Charlie XCX, all these women.
Sabrina Carpenter ever an interview opener?
If she didn't open, she definitely came on and sang songs with her. But it's a boost in someone's career to get to open for her, too.
Yeah.
Sure. Oh, my gosh, definitely. Forbes magazine ranked the 34-year-old 5th when it comes to power women behind Ursula von der Leyen, Christine Lagarde, Kamala Harris, and Giorgia Meloni. Swift tied with Spanx founder Sarah Blakely for 24th on America's self-made women.
Sabrina Carpenter did open for her.
Okay.
And she took 25th on the highest paid entertainers list. Number 1 is director Peter Jackson, by the way. Overall, on the billionaires list, altogether, she ranks 2,545th on the list of people who have $1 billion.
Where are we?
We're just under that, just underneath.
Just a smidge.
Wow. So huge news for her. Al Pacino, his relationship with baby mama Noor Al-Fala has always been a bit odd.
Come here.
Alfala, who is 30,
Yes.
has a type. Wealthy, famous, and much older than her. Her dating history included Clint Eastwood and Mick Jagger.
I love the smell of piss.
Before she got to 84-year-old Pacino.
What are you doing?
And had a child with the Hollywood legend last year. But maybe she's decided that a younger man is more her thing now. Over the weekend, she was seen out with comedian Bill Maher, who at 68 is only 38 years older than her.
Kid.
You too.
Yeah.
How refreshing. Hanging around with those children.
Yeah.
What's with the kid?
Yep. So 38 years is the spread.
You're
of that.
embarrassing yourself.
I'm just getting warmed up.
Yep.
You're robbing the cradle.
So what about Al? Al's sitting there. You know, he's thinking this relationship is over, but apparently they still have. He thinks
It's gone.
No, I'm sorry, but
I'm
apparently
too tired.
He is tired.
according to his reps, it's all good. Pacino
It's all good.
And Alfala are just friends,
I'll follow you anyway.
and they are co-parenting to their 1-year-old son, according to Al's people.
No, they're not.
I am.
He's
Yeah, I'll change the diaper.
No, they're not.
I got this.
You better think again.
As to whether Alfala and Mayer are dating, they were seen late Sunday night dressed for a night out. So
Imagine you're her and you walk into a room and you have to change one 1-year-old and one 81-year-old. Right? Hey, what kind of diapers you use?
yeah, she's got to do both of
Yeah.
them. Somebody's got to do it. Yeah.
I made a
He's
stinky.
not a bad man.
Yeah.
Both getting fussy.
I think I made a stinky. You know, somebody's right. I'm ripe.
This is such a crock of shit.
That's him holding up his diaper.
Scent of a diaper.
Scent of a diaper. So anyhow, yeah, she's apparently they're just it's kind of platonic between her and Al Pacino, but she and Bill Maher might be dating.
I bet you it was platonic during sex.
Well, probably.
Did I just have sex with you?
All right, well, moving on. They were actually married a year ago, but now the Bachelorette star Claire Crawley and faux husband Ryan Dawkins are married for real. Crawley made the announcement.
I love you.
Made the announcement over the weekend on her Instagram. While the couple had a wedding last year, they have since realized that they never crossed the T's and dotted the I's. They never actually got the marriage license.
Oops.
The couple had to move their original wedding forward due to Crawley's mother's failing health. With all the changes, the actual signing of the marriage license fell through the cracks. And in her post, she explained, "We decided since the first ceremony was so sentimental and perfect that we would just have a blast getting our actual marriage license and make it the most fun, love-filled day ever. So we did Vegas," she said.
You actually wrote John Hancock on this.
We did.
You said to put.
She said we did Pink Cadillac, Little White Chapel, and obviously Elvis was our officiant. Crawley wrote, "We had the time of our lives, and your girl is officially Mrs. Dawkins."
I don't know these people, but I do know her face. And what I remember about, listen, she is gorgeous. But what I remember about her is seeing her mad and in an argument. And I was like, I would never want to be on the receiving end of that. She was.
A horrible face? Like
No,
anger? Terror?
I was scared.
You
I
were
was-
scared? Yeah.
You scared me.
I was just, that's it. That's all I got.
That's all you got.
Yeah.
So she had a scary, evil, scary face.
Evil, scary face.
Yeah. You don't want to be one of the receiving
You
end
don't
of it.
want that.
Guess not.
I don't.
Well, they're married. Well, you're married to her,
I
so
know.
yeah, you're stuck.
Better rethink this.
Yeah. One of the high points of Sarah Michelle Gellar's career was her role as Helen Shivers, and I know what you did last summer, but the reboot fast approaching. She has some bad news for fans of the film. She is not going to be making an appearance, and her reason for not taking part in the new film is logical. She said, "I'm dead."
Yes.
However, she did add that she will be involved with the film in an unofficial capacity. She told People magazine, "My best friend, Jennifer Caton Robinson, is directing it, so we joke that I have an unofficial job, which is I'm continuity. So I'm always the one telling her, well, that would happen or that wouldn't happen with those characters. So I do have kind of an unofficial job title," she said. Freddie Prinze Jr., who, of course, is her husband, will reprise his role as Ray from the original. And the reboot of I Know What You Did Last Summer is going to hit theaters on July 18th of next year.
I always thought that was a slightly weaker series.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I never saw it.
It's like the Gorton's fisherman was the killer.
Okay. I thought this was nice to mention because a friend of ours, Billie Jean King, the tennis great, will preside over the 136th Rose Parade as Grand Marshal next year.
Oh, that's cool.
She turns 81 next month, and she was introduced Monday in a shower of confetti on the lawn of Tournament House as Philadelphia Freedom blared. She said, "I'm still kicking." And King will ride the 5.5-mile route through the streets of Pasadena on January 1st and be part of the coin flip for the 111th Rose Bowl game later that day. She said, "We look forward to it every year." Recalling her childhood in Long Beach, she said, "My mother and I always loved the parades." And she joins a long line of athletes who have served as Grand Marshals, including Olympic champions Laurie Hernandez, Greg Louganis, Janet Evans, Allison Felix, Carl Lewis, and Shannon Miller, as well as golfers Chichi Rodriguez and Arnold Palmer, and Pele and Hank Aaron were also hosts, or Grand Marshals. King, however, is the first female athlete to serve on her own, by the way. She's long advocated for gender equality, LGBTQIA plus rights, and other social issues. And the 39-time Major Champions Hall includes 20 Wimbledon titles in singles, doubles, and mixed doubles.
She's more
amazing.
decorated than Serena, right? Like,
You know what? I don't know.
In
got a Purple
my
Heart.
research for trivia questions over the weekend, I think I came across that and that surprised me because I thought Serena might be the greatest tennis player of all time, but I think Billie Jean.
She may have done more because it was she was also in doubles and mixed doubles.
Yes,
as well.
yeah.
So there
I
you
saw
can
her
win.
play both. It was pretty amazing. Oh my God, we used to go to the Forest Hills, the U.S. Open all the time for tennis, obviously, and Preston to watch her play. And she had this sort of iconic look. She wore these sort of, even at that time, older style glass frames,
really big,
and the short hair and everything. But she was a dynamo.
Absolutely. All right, let's see what else I wanted to mention. How about this one? Will Smith and Michael Bay joined forces on Bad Boys. They did 30 years ago and arguably made both of them big players in Hollywood. And now Bay is in talks with Netflix to team up with Will once again on a new action film. It's called Fast and Loose. The premise, a man to be played by Smith wakes up in Tijuana with no memories. As he pieces together his past, he learns that he's been living two lives, one as a crime kingpin and the other as an undercover CIA agent.
So it's essentially The Nanny.
No word yet on when production will begin or when Fast and Loose will premiere.
So you know this thing, and we were talking about this case about the movies that now end up, the Netflix debut movies that are, there's a class of them that sort of sit at, you know what I'm talking about,
What we
Press?
started watching yesterday, Rochelle did, or the day before when the Phils game was on, it was a Stallone movie.
Yeah.
It's about an escape, a guy who works to go into prisons and
Escape
they put him in
plan?
and he tries to escape out. Yeah.
Right.
And I'm like, when the hell
Where
this
did that come
out?
from? Yeah, and big names.
Yeah.
But they just sort of go in under the radar. And if you're, perusing around, what's the one that Stallone did where he was a quasi superhero for Amazon Prime?
Oh,
He was
yeah.
like a garbage man. It turned out he had a past where he was. He wore like this superhero suit.
Yeah.
Like where the hell did that come from?
Yep.
Oh, my God. Yeah. And they're usually not that great.
They are usually not that great. They're a good time killer, Samaritan.
Yeah.
It's usually a time killer. They're not horrible. They're just not anything.
They're not the quality of what you're used to.
Right,
but
exactly.
they're good enough to sit and watch. So, but yeah, there's a lot that fall into that category.
Absolutely.
Glenn Powell is starring in a remake of the 80s sci-fi classic, The Running Man. And we now know that when we will see it, it will be directed by Edgar Wright, who did Baby Driver and Scott Pilgrim versus the World.
We had him in the studio.
We did. The reboot of the Arnold Schwarzenegger classic will hit the big screen November 21st, 2025.
Did you read
roughly a year away?
Did you read the source material?
I did.
Okay. I assume there's a big difference between the.
It's nothing like
nothing
the movie.
like it, right?
Nothing like
I've
the
heard
movie.
that often. So I would like to see them try to maybe go back to the source material for this.
It's way less flashy. It's not this TV show with these guys.
Yeah.
The guy is on the run, but he's not on a set. He's just out literally in the public trying to hide. but every day he has to put something in the mail to say where he is.
Okay.
Like he clues them in onto what's going on.
That sounds a bit different.
It's way different. It's nothing like the movie. The movie was much more fun.
Yeah.
But it has an interesting ending to it. So while making the announcement, Paramount Pictures also revealed premiere dates for some other big films. The Naked Gun reboot starring Liam Neeson. That'll drop August 1st. And the Dakota Fanning horror film Vicious comes out February 28th. And the retelling of the 1972 Munich Olympics terrorist attack, September 7, is going to come out on a limited release on November 29th before a wider release December 3rd.
So Dakota Fanning was in Shyamalan's daughter's movie, and I'm forgetting, I'm having a brain fart on the title. It was out just
Trapped?
about a year ago. No, the one, well, the daughter.
Oh, that she directed.
That she directed.
Right.
And she was good.
Okay.
And the movie was kind of panned, but I thought it was decent.
Okay. Let's see. We got time for another one here. How about this? HBO dropped the trailer for the third and final season of its comedy, Somebody Somewhere, and they also confirmed that the final season will premiere on October 27th. The show follows the lives of three friends, Sam, Joel, and Trisha in Kansas. The show has been well received by its fans, and second season earned a Peabody Award as well as a GLAAD nomination. And the third season trailer hints at change is coming for everyone.
Oh, I cannot wait.
But that might not be the end of the world, so we shall see. And actually, I have time for another one.
Oh, nice.
I have time for one more. How about this? Amazon Freebie has reportedly canceled plans for the Who's the Boss sequel series.
No!
That was set to feature Tony Danza and Alyssa Milano.
My dad will be devastated.
He will be.
Is there everybody but Mona still around?
Judith
Alyssa-
Light is still working
Yeah,
regularly. In fact, I just saw her in a tease for something new
The
coming
Billy
out.
Crystal thing.
Yeah.
Alyssa Milano, I think, she's doing some sort of play. I'm not sure if it's on Broadway or
Who's
where.
the boss on Broadway?
No, but Tony Danza went to see her, and
With Ian McKellen.
Tony Danza went to see her in the show, and there all these pictures of them hugging, and
I am the boss. It turns out that Judith Light was never the boss. I would hate it when Mona would come into the kitchen and make my souffle fall.
They've decided to bail on this. The news was reported Friday with no reason given for the streaming service's decision.
We are all bosses.
The original show aired for 8 seasons on ABC from 84 to 92.
It was a guilty pleasure. Were you a Who's the Boss?
I liked it.
I was, yeah.
Yeah, it was fun. Following Tony, a widowed father, and his daughter, Samantha, as they moved to Connecticut, where Tony becomes a housekeeper for Angelus.
I'm a moron.
An advertising executive. The new series was to have Danza and Milano playing the same characters, obviously.
Does it kind of suck to know that apparently Danza can be kind of a dick?
Yes.
Yeah.
Who's the dick? That should be the show.
I think I could do. I would be 100% if you showed me all the living rooms of television sitcoms in
You think you'd have a
the 70s and 80s.
Good track record?
And I think I would have a decent track record if you showed bedrooms as well.
Bedrooms?
And kitchens.
Yeah, bedrooms a tough call. Kitchens, and because they're more often in the kitchens than the living room, I could probably do pretty well myself.
Yeah.
I would love to play that game with you, but being that we are not a visual medium,
We can describe, Preston, whether there's an end table next to the bed.
quite wouldn't make sense, but I would like to see your prowess in that regard, and I would like to test my own. I wouldn't be as good as you guys would, but I would like to try that.
Casey, that's one of the reasons I really loved WandaVision, because of those set pieces. They looked so much like Family Ties or whatever when they were set in the 80s or Growing Pains.
All right, let us play some clips for you this morning, dear friend. Snoop is deep into his first round of The Voice blind auditions, building a team of young talent and even saving an eliminated contestant. And here, the D.O.G. flashes back to his first big break.
It was this thing called the box where you would order the video. And G-Thing played like 50 times in a row because somebody ordered, and I was like, it was my first time seeing myself and hearing myself. Wow. And I was at my cousin's house on the couch, and I was just in amazement, like, and she was like, you a star. I'm like, I'm sleeping on the couch. I ain't no star.
Yeah! And of course, no shock, Nick just pulled up a picture. We were talking about Billie Jean King, a picture of her and Snoop Dogg together.
Of course.
Everybody wants a picture with Snoop Dogg.
Yeah.
The Voice airs tonight on NBC. Here's our next clip. As Lamorne Morris prepared to play Garrett Morris, he realized that he's actually been studying for this role his whole life. Here, the Saturday Night Star explains.
Garrett's one of those people, he's such an OG that as a comedian and as a black comedian, you grow up idolizing certain people. Eddie Murphy took a little bit from him, and then so on and so forth. And you realize when you're mimicking movements of a person, it stems from somewhere, and Garrett is the stem for a lot of the comedians that we see today.
Saturday Night opens on Friday.
Wide release, yes. I'm looking forward to it.
Hope it's good. All right, and that is what I have in this morning's entertainment report. I would like to give away right now, because we're doing a special takeover this morning, something for you, friends.
Do it.
Our gang at Dorney Park have an event, and Casey and Steve are both going to be here for this. It is coming up
next Friday,
on Friday the 18th from 5 to 7 p.m., and this is a special Dorney Park Halloween Haunt exclusive backstage tour of the makeup and costume areas, private walkthrough before the public. And you get to enjoy all the park has to offer for the rest of the night as well. We'll take caller number 20 at 215-263-WMMR, and we will set you up with a pair of tickets. Dorney Park's Halloween Haunt, it's cursed with 7 haunted mazes,
it's great,
each with its own frightening theme, plus 6 scare zones where guests encounter areas of the park that have been completely transformed with ghoulish scenes, all kinds of great things, rampart scares, and live and maybe not live entertainment as well. So we'll take caller number 20 at 215-263-WMMR. We're going to be giving away tickets all morning long for that. So make sure you stick around with us. We're going to step away for a moment. We'll be back shortly. We have a lot of guests on our program. If you missed the rundown, we'll get to it shortly. Stay put.
Preston and Steve on
4th District attempting to arrest an unruly teenager. While that was happening, another person showed up and tried to antagonize the person being arrested. That person was told several times by police to back up, but instead they pulled out a cell phone and got in between the officers to yell at the guy being arrested. After a supervisor arrived on the scene and tried to get the person to step away, the man tried to provoke officers into a fight.
That's what you were talking about,
I was
Casey,
just telling you guys.
Yeah.
What? This guy is such an a-hole. He's yelling at the cops. Don't touch me. Don't touch me.
But he's getting as close to them as possible.
The cops aren't touching him at all.
Yeah.
And he is the one that's walking towards them.
He's the aggressor.
Oh, my.
Yeah. And he got arrested,
and he's in the middle of the street, and the cops are saying, you got to get out of the street. He's like, no, I don't. Like, Yes, you do. Yes, you do. You're in the middle of the street, you effing a-hole.
Well, technically, that's jaywalking, so you can be cited right there for that.
Well, he got arrested for being an idiot anyway.
He did, yeah. So then he used profanity to tell a supervisor showed up on the scene as well. They called for backup, and he told the supervisor that he was really ugly.
Yeah.
You're really ugly.
Oh, he was ugly.
If you don't watch out, I'm going to grab your wrist.
So he says, who you wife? Damn. You guys are so mean. Whatever.
He was going to squeeze it really hard, though.
Yeah. I'm moving on.
Okay, move on.
Who you wife? I need to focus on this because
she's a newswoman.
I don't know if this is English.
And we're distracting her.
Sorry.
All right.
Who you wife? Damn, I forgot he ain't got one. Damn, he said.
That was well performed.
Okay,
Who
thank
you
you.
wife?
Who you wife?
Damn.
Damn. Don't forget the damn.
Yeah.
Damn.
Who you wife?
So
Damn.
Philadelphia Police Chief Inspector Scott.
Excuse me, who you wife?
Damn.
You ain't got no wife? Damn.
That's a different way.
John Houseman performed.
Yes.
You wife. Damn. You ain't got no wife. Damn.
Well done. You know what? It's like I was there.
Exactly.
It's like I was there on the scene. The Harry Potter film franchise is indelibly linked to Alan Rickman.
Yes.
And his portrayal of Professor Severus Snape. But Rickman wasn't as enamored with the role as fans were and still are, a new trove of letters reveals.
I think it sucks a bag of beans. Mr. Potter, this role sucks a big bag of Harry D.
If he didn't like it or had issues with it, it certainly didn't show up on screen. He was excellent, and to his emotional, spoiler alert, ending in the series.
Yeah.
He was a critical part of it.
Yep.
Many of you are surely wondering why I have summoned you at this hour.
guy's delivery is
so good.
It's come to my attention that earlier this evening, Harry Potter was sighted in Hogsmeade. Now, should anyone, student or staff, attempt to aid Mr. Potter,
I just love the way he drags out those words, man.
they will be punished in a manner consistent with the severity of their transgression. Furthermore, any person found to have knowledge of these events who fails to come forward will be treated as equally guilty.
It's so good. Fantastic. Wow. It's so sad that he's
You will
gone.
be called to my office, where I shall spank you with your pantaloons down around your ankles. I shall do so liberally and with great care. There will be a modicum of probing. Digits will be involved.
If that doesn't scare you straight, I don't know what
I might
would.
even break out the wand. At which point you will receive an enema unlike any you have ever received before. In fact, I will pay to have the owl watch the whole
Oh
thing.
my God. He's a cuck. The owl's a cuck.
Absolutely. Hedwig?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's his
And then, when it is all done, I shall pleasure myself into the sorting hat.
Oh my God. Not the sorting hat.
Oh, man.
Oh my God.
He's always gone off the deep end.
That's when Rickman became bored with the character.
Right.
And he needed to add a little flavor to it.
Sure.
Oh,
It's
wow.
because of his pentameter, I have had this ongoing debate as to whether or not he says yippee-ki-yay, I'll say truck, mutta truck or mutta trucka.
And that haunts you?
Well, I mean, I've talked about this ever since the movie came out. Does he put an ER at the end of...
I don't think
Bless
he
me,
does.
Father, for I have sinned.
Yes.
I'm worried about Alan Rickman's delivery of the role Yippee-ki-yay, Mother Trucker. Do you have any sins to tell me about, son?
No. I just thought I'd talk about
I just
this.
wanted to seek your counsel.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't think there's an ER. I think it's a...
Me neither.
Question you just raised is easily one of the most imbecilic things I've ever heard. I want you to come to my office, where I shall lock the door and spank your buttocks.
Zombie raccoons. That's my thing.
Yes.
That clumsily walk on two legs and show their teeth are staggering around suburban Chicago, and authorities are warning locals to hide their pets. A spike in raccoons testing positive for distemper in Riverside, Illinois, is to blame for the bizarre sightings of contaminated animals that the disease causes to appear zombie-like. While zombie raccoons don't eat brains, distemper is highly contagious. If you're feeding wildlife and that raccoon ate out of your bowl, or cat food for your stray cats, and your puppy goes over, the saliva can be contagious.
They sent in a Negan raccoon to take care of everything.
Well, oh, well, oh, well. Looks like we got ourselves a problem in Chi-Town. Leaning back high. Looks like we got some trouble. Some trouble in Chi-Town. Going deep dish on this bitch.
It's got a little leather jacket he wears. Yeah.
Lean back, wait for. Hey! In the home of Oprah.
There we go. We had mentioned this earlier this morning, but it's definitely worth bringing up. The restaurant named Cadence, which is a BYOB on Girard Avenue, was named the best new restaurant by Food and Wine.
That's a super well respected journal in the world of the culinary happenings.
Yeah.
And so this is a big honor.
But in the order, you have Cadence is number one in Austin, Texas. Suerte. Frenchette in New York. Conby in Los Angeles. Kumiko in Chicago These are all one-word names.
Manny's Chili Dogs.
Ah, that's on there. No, Pat's Chili Dogs.
Pat's Chili Dogs.
Yes.
Definitely the best theme.
Yeah.
Voted #1 in Food and Wine magazine. Yeah, baby.
That was from the band Cinderella when they were big in the area. They did
Hi, we're Warren. When we're in town, we want some good chili dogs. We always read through Food and Wine magazine to see who won.
They did a commercial for Pat's Dogs.
That building is now a
We buy gold.
Oh, is it really?
We buy gold. Gold for sale. No more chili dogs. I'm not going west. Next step, selling blood.
Yeah. So number 6 on this list is Ada, which is Ada Indian Canteen.
Ooh, I love canteens. When you go in that, you need water.
Fox and the Knife in Boston.
Boston sucks.
Hey, we beat Boston.
Love me some good Fox.
There you go.
Suck at Boston.
How's the Fox at this place?
Indigo in Houston. Nightshade in Los Angeles. And in New Orleans, a place called Piece of Meat.
There you go. You know, it's terrible. I think one of the most difficult parts of a restaurant would be a name that means something and pops to people.
Yeah.
You know, like Pat's Chili Dogs.
Right. That's... Yeah, I mean, you know, the name will only get you so far, but it is an added bonus. Answer the phone, by the way. Thank you very much. I don't know. If you had a restaurant, what would you name it?
I'd name it Answer the Phone.
Yeah, thank you.
Because
I'm sorry. I'm tired of waving my arms.
Yeah.
It's been happening
You
the
lose
last few
business.
days, and I'm just going to say answer the phone.
Answer
from
the
now on.
goddamn phone.
Yeah, answer. In fact, I'll say it that way.
Yeah.
That should be the name of the restaurant.
Answer the goddamn.
Answer the goddamn.
Answer the goddamn phone. Great food. Answer the goddamn phone. Open all night.
We knew we were going to have one gentleman for sure that was coming in. We have 2 here this morning. This is a momentous occasion.
Call it an honor.
I'd have to say because he is the best-looking 60-year-old man I've ever seen in my life. It's his birthday today.
Yes.
So we first want to welcome our friend Sean Wayans, who's been here on many occasions. And his brother, Keenan Ivory Wayans, is here celebrating his birthday today.
Hello, this is how you do it.
This is how you do it, man. Welcome to Philadelphia.
Yeah, well, now all the women in my family are going to kill you because you said my age. And they all lie about theirs. So
You're working as a stand-up when you met Robert Townsend, correct?
yeah, well, when I met Robert and Eddie and all of us, we all started out at the same time and in the club in New York at the Improv.
Yeah.
And that's sort of how we, started working together.
And you, I believe, if the legend is correct, that you are one of the writers or co-writers on Raw, correct?
Yeah, on Raw, I worked on that with Eddie. I also produced it, and Robert directed it.
I remember that day.
Oh, there was a picture. Put the picture back
there.
up. Yeah.
I was back there with you guys, right?
WMMR.
Real quick, a couple of emails I'd like to read. I got this one from Bonnie Dietrich. And she writes and says, "Hey guys, I was a Lehigh Valley resident for almost 40 years. I'm a lifelong Phillies fan. Experiencing Hurricane Helene and now dealing with the aftermath is like nothing I've ever seen in my almost 48 years." By the way, she lives, hang on a second here, in Arden, North Carolina. And she says, the devastation to the landscape is unimaginable. Many are still without power, and it could be months before some regain running water. And she said, besides what you're seeing on the news, you can't believe it unless you are there to actually experience what it is really like in person. But despite all this awfulness, we remain Appalachian strong, and we will get through this. And she said, I wanted to give a shout out to a local food truck who's doing amazing things. North Meats South Food Truck, run by Chef Ashley Neri, serves cheesesteaks, crab fries, cannolis, and other deliciousness. Her family is originally from the Philly area.
Wow.
And the food she serves remains true to Delco and the surrounding areas. For the past week, she's been serving free meals to those in need with the help of local pantries and other food trucks, all coming together for a common good. Chef Ashley is one of the many people working endless hours to try to feed as many folks as possible. So I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Philadelphia connection. She said, keep doing what you're doing, being entertaining and making me laugh at a time when all I want to do is DBH. Do bong it.
Yeah.
Loved all my family and friends back in the Valley. I miss you terribly. That's from Bonnie Hester. I guess maybe her married name is Dietrich or maybe vice versa. But anyway, she's in Arden, North Carolina. So she wanted to send that out, and we absolutely do. And hang in there and just keep working every day by day. So it'll get together eventually. And then on the heels of that, I got this from Maureen Foltz, who texted in and said, "Good day. I was wondering if you could give a shout out to at some point this week, celebrating Emergency Nurses Week, to all of the awesome nurses out there and staff who work in the emergency room tirelessly every day, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Thank you so very much." She said, "As always, I love waking up with you guys and listening on my drive in to my emergency room." So there you go, Maureen. And thank you guys for doing what you do. It's tough work. It is a
absolutely.
tough
Yeah.
gig
I
for
couldn't
sure.
do it.
Yeah.
Because I'm stupid.
Well, yeah, you need to have smarts in order to do that. So it is time for the stream of consciousness.
My
now.
mind is
Yes.
a raging torrent, flooded with rivulets of thought, cascading into a waterfall of creative alternatives.
The stream of consciousness.
Variety of unrelated stories for you this morning as my mind travels to different areas. We're going to start with this first one I saw this morning. The cost of buying a Mega Millions jackpot dream is soon going to more than double for you.
Interesting.
The lottery officials said that they're confident players won't mind paying more.
I'm not so confident.
After changes that will lead to larger prizes and, it says, more frequent winners.
Mm-hmm.
It will cost $5 to play Mega Millions beginning in April. That is up from the current $2 per ticket. So that sucks.
Yeah,
more than double.
Yeah.
The price increase will be one of the many changes to Mega Millions that officials said will result in improved jackpot odds, more frequent giant prizes, and even larger payouts. So they haven't said the specifics.
I've heard that every 1 in 100 players will win the Mega Millions.
No, I don't think so.
Oh, okay.
But maybe they'll do fewer number choices.
Possibly.
I'm not sure if how much that changes the odds, but they will also have, obviously, with more money being paid per ticket, the jackpots are going to go up.
Ostensibly,
more.
right?
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. I prefer the Powerball over Mega Millions, the way the games are played, the numbers that you can choose.
Right.
For some reason, the Mega Millions, I'm like, nobody's ever going to win this.
So what makes the Mega... I don't play either. So what makes the Mega Millions that much more difficult?
You know
or
what's
that
funny
unappealing?
is one of them has more numbers for the Powerball number.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And I think that might be Mega Millions. It's probably Powerball, though. I don't even know, to tell you the truth.
I'm playing the wrong one.
Yeah.
Powerball officials said that they have no plans to change that game's odds or the $2 ticket or price for most of the tickets. Mega Millions will introduce changes at a time when fewer people are buying tickets, and jackpots need to reach ever higher figures before sporadic players notice and opt to buy a ticket or two. That's me. I wait till the big numbers and I go, what the hell?
When was the last one that really was... we were on a streak for a while there where it seemed like it was all the rage for quite a while, and there hasn't been a big surge lately, not that I remember.
There was one a few months ago that was over the $1 billion mark, I believe. But once it starts to get past $500-600 million, that's when I start paying attention.
Casey, you have a slightly better chance of winning with Powerball than Mega Millions.
Okay.
Right. So whereas a $5 million jackpot once prompted lines out convenience store doors, top prizes of $1 billion now often draw more of a ho-hum response. So they need to do changes.
Trillion.
Those.
Well, honestly, I don't even like if the jackpot's not over $250 million, I'm not even looking.
You don't even look.
Nah.
Kiss my ass.
Yeah.
So those much hyped jackpot numbers also could take a hit as interest rates fall. And that's because on billboards or other advertisements, state lotteries emphasize the annuity payout for jackpots distributed over decades from an investment fund. As interest rates have been high, the annuity jackpots have more than doubled the cash prizes that winners nearly always choose. With an expectation that interest rates will drop, those annuity jackpot figures will decline, so the advertised jackpot won't seem quite so massive. I personally don't understand all of that.
Yeah.
But apparently that's the effect of that. So they want a way to goose it a little bit somehow or another, get those jackpot numbers higher. But they didn't go into the specifics on how the odds will change.
I think that's going to be a key element to all this, especially justifying the price raise. I wonder, since the beginning of all of this, since how much money has been given away in these jackpots? Have we...
And then I want to know what happens to that. We were talking
how many billions
last week about that $1 billion ticket that wasn't claimed in New Jersey. What happens to that money if that just doesn't go claimed? Like, does that go back into the prize pool, or who gets that?
I think it goes to the closest radio show.
Okay.
I'm curious as to what is it absorbed back into the pot? Does
what
it go
happens
to the state?
To unclaimed money?
Yeah.
In the lottery. Good question. Don't know the answer.
I think maybe the state throws a party.
Some of them have charity angles to them. You know, I know Pennsylvania Lottery benefits older Americans, I think, or older Pennsylvanians.
I don't know. Yeah. I see a lot of pissed off older Pennsylvanians.
Yeah, I do too. Is that money really
They're not
being
getting that money.
Well,
where the hell's my money?
Listen, there are some states where, I mean, it's really, really inexpensive to go to college because the lottery goes towards that. So
is that a direct?
It's up to the state to decide where the lottery proceeds go towards. And so in Pennsylvania, it's older Pennsylvanians, and some it's higher education.
Well, then I know what I wanted to go to: a 50-story water slide.
Ooh,
50?
Yeah. Because that would be a long run, right?
Yeah, it would.
Yeah.
Under state law, all unclaimed and expired lottery prizes remain in the lottery fund and are used to support programs to benefit older Pennsylvania residents.
So then it just goes to the lottery system. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, but the Mega Millions, when you're talking about multiple states, then what does it go? Do they divvy that up?
If a prize goes unclaimed for Mega Millions, each participating state will get money back. Will get back all the money it contributed.
Okay.
So each state will get their money back.
Okay. All right. Well, that's
and
not
then
so bad.
the states use their unclaimed lottery prizes for different purposes.
I wonder how deep the minutia is as far as legal liability for all. You should think about this. Think about all of the things they have to protect against: false claims and people trying to game the system. And I bought this ticket here, and so on and so forth. It must be never ending.
You know how there are those stories out there of people how the lottery has ruined their lives?
Yes.
I don't think I would be one of those people.
No,
you would be able to
You know what I
handle
mean?
it. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would get the proper people to assist me.
With
and
so from step one, you would have financial planners ready to set things up.
Yes, we already have a financial planner that we have worked with for almost 25 years now, and I trust him with everything.
Likewise.
And would absolutely, positively be in good hands with that. And if not, I'll just give him a spare $1 million to make sure that everything is on
Look
the up
out
and
for
up.
me. Buy yourself something pretty.
I'll slide him $1 million across the table here. Don't forget me.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't think it would. I don't think it would ruin our lives. I mean, I know Casey. I have all these wonderful grand plans of helping other people
Altruism.
out. I would do that too, not to the extent of Casey because he's overly generous.
Well, I thought of a new one too.
Okay, do tell.
I'm going to fully fund my daughter's. She's going to write a Broadway show, and I'm going to fully fund it.
Just fund it.
Yeah, why not?
Why not?
Yeah,
you have hundreds of millions
this
of dollars.
thing stinks. I love her, but this is terrible.
I'm going to give her the chance.
Yeah.
To think out loud on Broadway.
Wow. But according to Mega Millions, their biggest motivation to make these moves was to differentiate it from Powerball and attract customers who might now pass on both games.
That could be the name of the musical, Stink Out Loud.
Stink Out Loud. Welcome to Stink Out Loud.
On Broadway.
Yeah.
What was the U2, the Spider-Man out of the...
Into the dark.
Yeah.
So...
I see people playing, by the way, these the scratch-offs.
Yeah.
There are a couple machines in one of the Sunoco I go to. There's a whole row of those scratch-off machines.
Dude.
Oh, yeah.
I
Loads
mean,
of
and there are people playing them constantly.
And you can find those in Walmarts and Wawas and all different kinds of stores. They have those. I don't do the scratchers. We will buy those for birthday gifts. As added little gifts and things like that. And then it's kind of fun to scratch them off. But no, to sit there and just do that repeatedly over and over, it's
you always have to vacuum.
So anyhow, this will begin in April that you will start paying $5 per play for some of the Mega Millions games.
I think there's going to be an initial blowback unless, as you said, on the follow-through, if they deliver a system that actually, to the consumer, says, okay, this is worth the extra the money, because it's more than double.
Yep. All right, let's go to another stream, if you will. Let's move on.
The stream of consciousness nerd.
We just started our own streaming service, by the way, called the Stream of Consciousness Nerd. All right, so I found this quite interesting, Kathy. I'm curious as to what you think this has to do with interior design. Okay. And apparently, colors like avocado green and its lighter counterparts are making their way back into young people's interiors choices, particularly in the bathroom. Wild sage, lemon, peach, sorbet, mint, and avocado are becoming popular among this group, and even Gen Z is now harking back to the taste of popular in the 1970s.
Yeah, so it's been very gray for a long time, and the gray is going out, and I did know this. They're bringing back colors like this, and not just in the bathroom, but with kitchen cabinets.
So do you know that classic kind of green and pink bathroom?
Yeah.
The tile?
Yeah.
I kind of liked it.
Yeah.
It's of a time. Steve, it reminds me of like the bathroom in the Overlook Hotel. Those are the colors in there.
There's a nostalgia to it.
Something
we had an avocado. My mother painted our, I know, painted our refrigerator avocado green. She actually painted it. And we had, Kathy, avocado green shag rug.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we had wood paneling. We had all that stuff.
I draw the line at wood paneling.
Yeah, we had wood paneling in
it too.
In the den, and I
want nothing to do with that.
We had it on our staircase.
Yes.
Our bathroom was like a baby blue, though, with the matching baby blue toilet.
That shag carpet that we had was such a disease magnet, and we had loads of pets. And it was always a friggin' nightmare.
You have to,
but it was green. It was avocado green.
Send me this article if you can, because my brother just bought a beach house this past summer, and they have to do some updating to it. And one of the bathrooms has that avocado green tile in it.
Yeah.
Send it and say you don't have to redo your bathroom.
You don't.
now.
It's back in style. You waited long enough.
Is it a sense of nostalgia, or what is prompting it?
Yeah. So that's what they're saying.
And
essentially,
I think too, it's been so neutral for so long that
Bland.
people are sick of it, so they're bringing in color.
So soon we'll go start to see the same sort of shirts that Mr. Brady used to wear.
I don't know about all that. God, the 70s fashions were just horrible. God.
Well, I just recently renovated the downstairs of my house, and it is very light because I had earth tones, browns and green or oranges and stuff like that.
Right.
So I went very light, but the color that I brought into it is sort of like, I wouldn't call it avocado. It's more of like a lighter green. Yeah, maybe like a sage, or even headed towards like the mint green.
Right. Okay. And that's apparently kind of hot right now, too. So the shade is having a moment as Pinterest Autumn Report unveiled a 350% increase in searches of dark green bathroom.
Wow.
And a 2,670% rise in green home decor more generally.
Oh.
Yeah, you don't see that a lot. You used to see it all the time.
So this is according to a UK retailer called Wix, I think. Do-it-yourself retailer. And they said more than a quarter of 24 to 34-year-olds picked avocado as a color they would most like to use in bathroom upgrades, while 28% would go for a pastel blue suite, another popular option during the decade that brought us Watergate and Pong. And 10% of this group would like to see 1970s paneling make a comeback.
I never liked wood paneling. No, man, it always looks so cheap.
Yeah, exactly.
Preston, you mentioned something in there too that's making a little bit of a comeback as well. You and I were talking about Pinterest.
Yes.
People are going back to Pinterest and using that a little more now as well.
I'm going to keep my Commodore 64 then, because we've been back on that before you know it.
You never know.
You never know.
The new trend identified, this is according to Tim Richards, head of bathrooms at Wix. He said the new trend identified doesn't mean the return of matching basins and baths. Today's avocado-inspired bathrooms are employing the retro green theme with a much lighter touch, often using colored furniture, tiles, and paint, as well as natural elements to channel the 70s vibe.
Hey, we had an avocado green chair, I forgot, too. One of those old-style Preston that almost looked like a hand.
Oh, yeah, sure.
We had something that was
I
on
remember
that
those.
style, yeah.
By the way, apparently houseplants are big as well right now,
Yeah, I
too.
know.
Like
Yeah.
filling your house with greenery.
Yeah, I'll have to show you some of the pictures of my house. Actually, they're on my Instagram. You can see them. But yeah, I have like this big house plant with what's the
Spider plant?
Kudzu?
No, hold it. No, give me a minute.
Okay.
Kathy, you've seen our house. I mean, it's like there's house plants everywhere.
Yeah, yeah.
No kidding.
Yeah, oh my God, yeah. And Andrea's been a plant
Shells
lady for a
and-
long time. Yeah, shells and house plants and succulents, and they are inside and out.
Listen, when done right, I think that stuff looks good. It's
Yeah,
a lot
too.
of maintenance, though.
Here's what I
That's
think
the
about
thing.
it.
It is so much maintenance if they're real.
If she and I weren't together, it would be so damn boring in the house. I wouldn't have any decor. I wouldn't know what the hell I'm doing. So to have her influence and to have her make it look as nice as it does, I'm grateful.
Okay. So there is.
I have Batman figures.
This, by the way, I broke one of Steve's Batman.
Oh my God!
It's okay. He brought the Bat Pod, the motorcycle.
How did you
Bat bike.
Because you go above to get.
Yeah.
For the paper. I grabbed a ream of paper, Kathy, and it slipped out of my hands. It just.
Oh no!
It can be glued. It'll be fine.
Oh, we should
I
just
came
throw it
in,
out.
but I broke it to Steve the right way. I came in and opened the door. I go, man, I got bad news. And he thought like somebody died or something like that. I'm like, I broke your bat bike.
Good news! No one died.
And so, but by contrast, I was like, well, that's not so bad. And then I thought about it and I go, no, that's worse. No, no, it's fine.
But he followed it up with, I think I got a Batmobile I can replace it with anyway.
Actually, I know I do. It's on the way and it'll be sitting right on that same spot.
So, well, you got to be careful because those reams of paper are heavy, and
This one's very
I hope
heavy.
I won't drop.
No, it's no problem.
All right. Well, anyhow, moving back to interior
Yes,
design.
the more important stuff.
Millennials are sinking a green that reflects peace and nature in the bathroom to give that feel of serenity to help relax after a busy day.
Excuse me.
I need serenity in here. I need something that just is natural, that makes me relax. It's like my little oasis where I can go and just absorb.
Okay. Anyway, Kath, what were you going to bring up? Because I'm about to move on. You were
I
gonna
don't
bring
know.
up something.
I can tell you something if I may jump in.
colors thing.
We had the worst thing in the world you could possibly have growing up. We had shag rug in the bathroom.
Oh, come on. Ew.
I swear to God.
That's awful.
And so we had a bathroom on the main floor. Now, not upstairs, not in the shower, but we had a guest bathroom that had a shag rug on it. I'm like,
That's awful.
just in pee splash alone.
Uh-huh.
Wow. All right, let's see where else we're going to go. Stream, young man, stream.
Stream of consciousness there.
Another story out of England. Graves could be reused and closed burial grounds reopen under proposals aimed at tackling a lack of space for the dead. The Law Commission has suggested that cemeteries that have been declared full could be reused for new burials.
Listen, can't we launch them into space?
The proposal is part of a public consultation by the Commission on updating 170-year-old burial laws in England and Wales. The commission has warned that urban areas are fast running out of burial space, with many cemeteries already full.
I had an event last week at Harrigan's, and we were chatting. I was chatting with a listener named Jen. She gave me her card, and she grew up in the Virgin Islands. And we were talking about this because of burial space in the islands is really at a premium. And so Jen has had several family members buried at sea, and they just take them out to the ocean. And it's because, Kathy, they just, if you ever go to the Virgin Islands, actually probably a lot of places in the Caribbean, you'll see cemeteries where the graves are stacked upon one another. Coffins or whatever, they end up being above ground. So for Jen and her family, it just was not uncommon to have a sea burial.
Nick, it is interesting that you brought this up. There's a separate story that I have that I can tie into this. There's a thing called the Neptune Memorial Reef.
Okay.
And it is 40 feet underwater in Biscayne Bay off the coast of Miami. And it is both the world's first underwater cemetery and is also set to become the largest man-made reef on the planet.
Oh, do that for me. That's what I want.
Okay.
I'm now decided. Put
Do
me
you
in
want
that
do you
reef.
want ashes put down there, Nick, or do you want
your
body,
body?
the full
No, whole
body?
I want to be fish food. I want to be part of the reef. Toss me off the
You know
side
what
of
this
the boat.
means? Underwater ghosts.
Underwater ghosts?
Yeah.
Since its inception in 2007, the reef has grown to encompass 1 acre. with plans to expand to 16 acres, providing space for over 250,000 placements of human remains.
It's pretty spooky.
You know what? It's interesting because they talk about, abuse of a corpse and things that. Obviously, you don't want that to happen. But I have always seen that a burial at sea is, they drop them off and as the boat moves away and the body goes there and that moment was tranquil. That body's getting ripped to shreds by predators in the ocean later on.
I love that.
It ain't, you know what I mean?
Yeah. So
that's a bit of an abusive corpse.
I'd like my loved ones ripped apart by predators, please.
What, do you have any idea what the protocol is on letting the bodies go into this artificial reef in Biscayne?
So it is.
What are they sealed in?
It's 1 acre. Plans to expand to 16 acres, providing space for over 250,000 placements of human remains. Right now, 1,500 people are laid to rest here.
Wait, it is actual body?
Yes.
You know what? I don't know.
That's what we need to find out because I want to find out if it is after a cremation and the ashes are put down there, but it sounds like they're putting the actual mortal remains down there.
I think it's ashes. So with thousands more to have already reserved their spots, families can choose from a variety of burial options ranging from simple memorials to elaborate family groupings. Loved ones can visit the reef via scuba or by boat and make it a unique and lasting memorial while contributing to the local marine ecosystem.
Okay.
Maybe they are
That sounds like they're feeding them to the fish.
Developed to resemble the mythical lost city of Atlantis, the reef provides an unusual way for individuals to memorialize their loved ones while helping the ocean and sea life.
Yeah, it's mostly ashes. They call them cremains. Cremated human
It sounds delicious. I'll have a cremains.
Are you going to finish your cremains,
and
Steve?
a fribble?
So that is an option, but yes, in some places in England and Wales,
feed them to the whales.
No, they don't eat meat.
Oh, okay.
Well, some do.
Okay, well, yeah.
Orcas.
Yeah, well, they're not whales technically.
They're technically
sperm whales.
I guess
they're of the dolphin
anyway.
family, right?
Yes.
Safeguards. So proposed changes would allow burial grounds to reuse graves, but only after public consultation and government approval. Safeguards would also be in place for each individual grave with plots only eligible for reuse when the last person was buried at least 75 years ago.
So the issue I think would be, obviously we've heard of things with people running scams or facilities that are not delivering on the promise and people not being buried and rotting. You wouldn't want that same sort of situation contaminating the ocean,
Right. What do you do if you can't afford funeral services, whether it be a burial or a cremation or whatever? Like you just simply can't afford it.
There are potter's fields and things of that nature where
there's a whole island in New York.
Yeah,
where they send the bodies of
Harry Potter Field. It's magical.
People that are homeless and have no living relative connections. So there are some protocols. Case I don't know what they do around here.
You can sign a form with the county coroner's office, and the state will bury or cremate the body for you.
Okay.
If you cannot afford the burial, Harry Potter Field.
But you don't have any say in where or how.
Right.
You have no say in where or how.
So, current legislation.
That is my theme music.
Makes it illegal to redevelop graveyard for any reason other than to develop a place of worship. Other publicly run cemeteries can be redeveloped if the owner is granted an act of parliament.
I saw a documentary about a suburban development where they built the homes right on the grave.
They only moved the gravestones.
They only moved the gravestones. And you would not believe what happened.
I saw that same documentary, Steve.
It was an incredible documentary. Wow. The house actually rolled back.
Wow.
And got sucked into a vortex.
All right. Anyhow, so they are.
Is that documentary any good? I was too scared to watch it when I was a kid.
It's a little dated now.
As an adult,
dated.
Would it be as scary? Okay.
No, it's not.
All right.
All right. One more stream story here, then we'll move along.
Stream of consciousness.
The world's longest treasure hunt appears to have come to an end after an announcement in France that a buried statue of a golden owl has finally been unearthed after 31 years.
Wow.
The hunt's official chat line said, "We confirmed that the replica of the golden owl was dug up last night and that simultaneously a solution has been sent on the online verification system. It is therefore now pointless traveling to dig at any place that you believe the cache might be situated."
Pointless.
What?
It's just like a give up.
Yeah, give
if
it.
you've been
Stop
looking
it.
for it, so
We found the friggin' owl.
The message was posted by Michael Becker, who illustrated the original. Nick, I'm going to mispronounce this. Shoot d'or.
That sounds about right.
Golden Owl.
Yeah, D''OR.
Shoot
Yeah.
the door.
No, not shoot the glass.
That's 2 Alan Rickman references in a row.
Wow.
That's very
From
good.
2 different characters.
To Nick for notice.
Shoot is spelled CHOUETTE.
Sure.
If you say so.
Or Golden Owl book and sculpted the buried statuette in 1993. No further information about the site or finder was available. There was another treasure hunt that ended pretty quickly of a different one. These people will put these golden, treasures out and bury them and then list clues and you go to try and find them. And the one was worth 30 grand, I think, or 25 grand.
I thought we were talking on, but this is fascinating, but on a more historical level, like they've been looking for that that Civil War treasure that apparently.
Oh, yeah, near Gettysburg.
Right, near Gettysburg.
Yeah.
But I do like these things when people do it. Remember the people, though, the one author who had placed the clues to the treasure and people died looking for it?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes. So tens of thousands of people have taken part in the search, which has spawned a huge secondary literature in books, pamphlets, and internet sites. They have all been following 11 complicated puzzles set out in the first book by its creator, Max Valentin. When he died in 2009, Mr. Becker took over the operation. The complex clues were supposed to lead to a precise point somewhere in France where a bronze replica of the actual Golden Owl would be found under the ground, and the winner would get the precious gold original. Precious. The world of shooters, as the treasure hunters are called, was
the owl.
In an uproar on Thursday morning as news of the reported find spread. Some hunters remained skeptical, fearing that the cache might have been discovered with a metal detector. Under the rules, a finder has to show that they correctly solved the enigmas and did not just stumble upon the owl by chance.
Well, come on. If you stumbled upon the owl by chance, you still found it.
Yeah.
So I think that's kind of unfair. But
those were the rules.
For a while, were doing something similar. Do you remember that? And you enjoyed it.
It was so much fun. And this was before digital downloads were a thing. Because that's when we, in the radio business, were regularly handing out CDs and DVDs.
Yes.
And my youngest, Caroline and I, we would grab some DVDs from our prize closet.
Right.
And we would go and I would put them somewhere in a public place and take a picture of it and send out on social a clue.
Right.
And say, first one that finds it wins. We had a blast doing that, man.
Those are fun.
It was awesome. And now I don't really have anything to give away.
I put a digital download under a rock.
I mean, that would still work.
You could put the coupon.
Yeah.
But it's not as exciting as getting the actual physical thing.
We don't get them as much anymore, but I would like to do that again. That was a good time. Yeah. So we just post a clue or two and people would go and look for them.
What was that? Geocaching?
Right? Yeah, geocaching.
That was a lot of fun. I did that with Ben when he was younger, and I think that still exists. I don't know.
It does.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. And there are other versions of that too, Nick, that are out and about.
Wasn't there a guy who was dropping $100 in places every day somewhere around here?
Yes.
Was that was it tagged with geocaching or something? Associated with it?
It was like, oh God, it was like, where's Ben? Or I forget what it was called.
Yeah.
That was Gino Vanelli.
He was doing it for a while, Case, but I don't remember if he's still doing it or not. So anyhow, they found out that this person did send in the solution to the what they call the enigmas, the clues.
So you have to show your work, basically.
And you had to show your work, and the guy did it, so he got it right. So kudos to them. And I don't know how much it's worth, but
$100.
Totally
what?
$100.
What?
No, it's. I would imagine it's 5 figures at least.
Yeah,
or more. So
how many after the decimal?
So they found it, but there are more of these that exist, and you can find them.
Should we do one
online? And
here's what we do: this will add a little bit of sauce to it. We'll bury someone alive with an oxygen tank.
Okay, all right.
Dirty Harry.
Yeah.
And then you have to
get some skin in the game.
Okay,
somebody's gonna die.
S just got real, didn't it? And you win a DVD.
All right, that's it. We're done.
The stream of consciousness, nerd.
My mind is a raging torrent, flooded with rivulets of thought, cascading into a waterfall of creative alternatives.
All right, how about we do this? How about we give away a pair of tickets to join Steve and Casey for an event on the 18th. It is a Friday at Dorney Park. We'll take caller number 17 at 215-263-WMMR. You get to get into the park on an early walkthrough before the public. You get to see the haunt and makeup and costume areas, private areas, all the stuff. Casey and you and Steve will hang out.
So cool.
215-263-WMMR. And new for the Scare Zone at Dorney Park for 2024, they have Steel Yard Forge Your Fear.
Oh.
The gates are gone, but with Halloween upon us, the Steel Yard has come to life. Dare to venture in for the best deal on tickets, and you can visit DorneyPark.com. But caller number 17, you are our winner. We're going to take a break. We'll come back in a second. We'll get Bizarre File stories and your first shot at winning $1,000 this morning with Good Money Yet.
Preston and Steve.
I was slapboxing with Eddie and I almost hit him, and then security grabbed me and was like, all right. All right, Junior, you about to mess up this money. Go sit your ass down.
Wow.
So that's cool. But all you guys have had such a massive effect on comedy and a type of comedy that I love, we all love. That is, you helped usher it in. Eddie Murphy did as well.
What happened in my career was I started out, sort of by myself.
Yeah.
And then as my family started getting into the business, I kind of realized that it was either going to be all of us or one. So I decided to make it about all of us. So I kind of stepped away from acting and started to
cultivate.
Yeah, exactly.
So, and Sean, we were talking earlier about how you were first on the show as the DJ.
Yeah.
And you'd already been doing comedy. You're doing stuff like that. But so from your point, Keenan, as you're seeing family member after family member, I want to do this. I want to do this.
Mm-hmm.
Is it a double-edged sword, or what do you first say to them when they come to you and they say you as sort of the default patriarch? I want to do this.
He nurtured us.
Yeah.
My thing with them was as long as you're willing to work. I always wanted them to know that it wasn't easy, and I would give them small opportunities in the beginning. I never gave anyone a starring role who wasn't ready, and like I said, I made sure that they all put in their work, and it is the fact that they're where they are in their careers now is testament to the fact that they came in the right way.
Did anybody ever get mad at you saying, "Hey, I'm ready for my starring role"?
Always. When Damon first started,
I was the DJ, man.
And you were a damn good DJ.
I could play sketches too and scratch.
Hey, the guy right behind you is really talented.
Well, when Damon first started, I told him, I said, "Give yourself 10 years." Yeah. And he looked at me like I was insane, and he was like, "It's gonna take me 10 years." Well, 10 years later, he was ready.
We say the same. I tell like the interns and people who are coming up in the radio business, and now we've been, it's the 20th anniversary of the show, and I say, trust me, if you were to jump 5 years into the future and look back, you wouldn't believe where you were or how things have changed. Yeah. So that's very sage advice. But when you're young and hungry, it's hard to perceive that.
It is, and the thing is, youth is something that people think everything is supposed to happen when you're young.
Right.
And they're disappointed if it doesn't, because youth is when, you make the money, you chase the girls, you do. And that's the experience that everybody wants, as opposed to being great at what you do. Yeah. And being great at what you do takes a lot more time than that. And sometimes, youth passes you by. And I tell people all the time, if your goal is to be a CEO of a company, it doesn't matter if it happens at 20 or 60.
Yeah.
You still accomplish your goal.
Yeah. All right. So you have to be a really good talent scout, right? So within Living Color, were you the sole decision maker as far as who was on the cast and who wasn't?
Yeah.
All right, so it was because you did an amazing job with that, and you look at all of the people that came out of there.
Well, they were all people that I knew.
That you knew.
Right? So we were all in the clubs together.
Okay.
So when I got an opportunity, it was like, who's the funniest guys I know? Like, it wasn't really like a hard thing to do because I knew they were funny.
You were working with people like Jim Carrey and all those guys were paying their dues.
And he knew what to do with them.
Right. But that's a key. That is a gift. There's Lorne Michaels has that that ability, and also who's going to synergize well with each other.
But your show aired at 8:00 on Sunday, and so you had a younger audience in myself,
right?
And I mean, I loved it. You know what I mean? Like Ace Ventura came out, I was like all over that. And like,
it got moved to 8. Started at 9.
Did it start at 9?
Yeah.
What did Parker Lewis Can't Lose? Was that your lead?
The Ferris Bueller ripoff?
I love that show too.
Fox wanted to make it an anchor show.
Okay.
So they moved us to 8.
Did they initially, or because would it first really, because it kind of hit the ground running, if my memory was, and did they go, whoa, we need to bump this up?
Yeah, well, initially they were very afraid of the show.
Yeah.
Period. Like they had no idea what was going to happen. But once the show was successful, then it was like every network strategy is going to be how many other shows can we launch?
Right.
So, they ended up moving us.
In this day and age of reboots, we're seeing TV shows rebooted. What's the likelihood? We don't have a good sketch show. SNL's the only thing going right now, as far as I know.
I think there's absolutely a new generation.
Yeah.
So it would just. I don't think that the guys from the past would
step forward.
Yeah, want to do that again. But there's absolutely a new generation out there, and it would be fun.
Yeah.
We're in a time now where I think a show like In Living Color is needed, but at the same time, it's the sensitivity.
Can you do it?
Yeah.
No, that's a good question. We were wondering about that, about the. Preston and I were having a talk earlier about the comedy club or the theater. When you guys are there, that's your realm, and all bets are off. You should be allowed. There's safe spaces for satire and comedy and thought provoking, whatever you want to do. That's your palette, and there's been hits on it lately.
It's the phone.
Yeah.
You see, because
absolutely
the people who are in the club, they paid to be there and they want to see it.
Yeah.
But people who are filming, now it's going to people who didn't want to see it.
You're
and
right.
then when they do see it, now they're pissed. It's never the people who are in
That's
the
why
club.
I didn't want to go. See that?
Well, speaking of that, even some rock bands have adopted no phone.
I don't think phones should
get
be allowed.
out of here.
I think you're there for the experience and enjoy the experience. And
well, Kevin Hart played the Link, the stadium here, and there was a no phone rule for that whole show. It can be done. It's a pain in the ass, but I mean, I would agree.
Yes, you lift a clip out, you lift a soundbite out of context, and people are going to go ape.
It's just crazy.
I heard somebody, and I don't remember who the performer was, saying recently though that they, it's really easy to see from the stage when somebody does get on their phone. Have you guys noticed that? Like if you're up on stage, you can tell immediately.
If the light is on,
You can tell, but you just don't want to stop. You got to understand. You got people in the palm of your hand.
Yeah.
You got momentum going,
right?
And you're thinking about your next thing, and you're trying to be physical, and you're trying to be in the moment, and then someone has their phone up. Do you stop your whole show to deal with this guy with his phone up, and then kill the people's?
No,
show?
you're right. So you're going to ruin it for other people. It makes total sense.
Sometimes you do, and you make him part of the show, and you destroy him for being the idiot.
Which is
pulling
also
the phone
good.
out. But
You channel your Richard Pryor.
if I gotta stop, I'm gonna destroy you.
Keenan, I have to tell you that I'm Gonna Get You Sucker is one of my absolute favorite movies.
Thank you.
Hilarious. I think people need to revisit it, but I think it's also sort of it's the likely first step to getting to Don't Be a Menace, which that same sort of comedy, which has became the style of comedy. When you were putting that together, how difficult was that to pull everybody? You had a lot of cameos and stuff. Give us the idea of what that production was like.
I was very lucky. And Jim Brown really. He and Bernie Casey, once they came on,
got it done.
Then everybody else was like, "Well, if they'll do it," and
they were essential.
Yeah,
they were what Leslie Nielsen was.
Yes, they were the icons of the era, and so once I was able to bring them on board, it went really smooth, and it really was. it was an homage to them.
And the blaxploitation movies of the
those
70s.
are the movies I grew up watching, and
so did I. They were
enjoyed
awesome.
them.
Yeah.
So, when I was writing it affectionately. So that's why I think that they responded to it. And then these guys did the same thing for their generation with "Don't Be a Menace."
Yeah.
So I was on the set of "I'ma Get You, Sucker." 17-year-old boy watching his big brother do his thing, and just taking it all in and going, man, one day I want to do a movie just like this.
Yeah, and you did.
A couple of years later, Don't Be a Menace was born.
It's Sean and Keenan Ivory Wayans here, and we want to do something special because it's a special day, and we have something to bring out for Keenan. It is his birthday today, so we got a cake for you, Keenan. Yes.
He don't eat cake though.
Happy birthday to you. So you don't eat cake, huh?
No, actually I don't. But I appreciate the 7 candles. It's my 7th birthday.
There you go. So you can blow out the candles, and there you go.
Preston and Steve's Music News on 93.3 WMMR.
Choo 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 kaboogie boop boop badoop boop badoobie boo 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 boo.
Wow. Didn't even know we had that. All right, so the band Korn has posted a cryptic message on its Instagram account suggesting some sort of announcement is imminent.
I love when you get mad at yourself.
It is inevitable.
Inevitable. The post shows a black and white image of what appears to be a tangle of cables with fans asking to visit the band's website.
I like it.
What was the
There's a fart at the
I
end.
don't know where the fart came from, but I love it.
Play that at regular speed,
right.
please.
That's the greatest sound I've ever heard. One more time.
Marissa, trace that back to April 20th, 2017. Kathy thinks this is hilarious.
Not even. It boggles my mind how you still find it this funny that the three of you can't contain yourselves.
It's great. It's everything you want to say. Sometimes the words don't come to you.
I
play it again.
Which speed?
Slow. Let's do it slow.
I can see you give it like a little chuckle and then move on.
No.
At this point, we've been here like 3 minutes now.
You're not seeing the greater picture. So as it's gearing up in classic Korn fashion to be this aggressive sort of war chant, it's completely undermined by the childlike poot. It's two completely conflicting attitudes.
Hey, by the way, nobody else is laughing.
Yeah.
So it's not just Kathy is not laughing. Nick's not laughing, and none of our interns are laughing.
Marissa has a smile on her face. Hang on.
93.3 WMMR Philadelphia. It's time for a Good Money It keyword.
All right, the word this morning, friends, is bliss. BLISS. We're going to give you until 15 minutes after the hour to enter that. 3 ways for you to do it. You can enter it at WMMR.com through the MMR app, or you can text it to the special contest short code number, which is 45911. One random entry will win $1,000 in our company-wide contest, and each winner gets a call from Beasley, so make sure you answer your phone. Contest rules are available at WMMR.com, and it is sponsored by Horizon Services Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing. So enter that now. The word is bliss, BLISS. Do it. We're going to take a look at traffic, see what's up. Kath, what you got for us this morning?
Excuse me. Geez, we've got a number of closures. New Jersey Turnpike, the inner roadway northbound between Hightstown and exit 8A, Route 32, closed because of a vehicle fire jam for 3 miles approaching the scene. Route 70 eastbound, that is also stopped or closed between Old Marlton Pike, Route 70 eastbound between Old Marlton Pike and North Cropwell Road. They said until 7:30. It's 8 o'clock and it's still closed for construction. Matson Ford Road in Conshohocken closed. The off-ramp to go to the Schuylkill eastbound, that's shut down right now because of an overturned vehicle. And then on Westchester Pike, the off-ramp to 202 northbound closed because of a crash. And then just heavy delays on the rest of the roadways. Schuylkill Expressway, 202 into Gulf Mills City, all the way into the Vine, westbound Passyunk to the Vine, City to Gladwin, and then again at the Conshohocken curve. The Blue Road northbound, heavy 95 to the Media Bypass, southbound the Mid-County tolls to the Schuylkill Expressway, and then from Route 1 to McDade Boulevard. Bethlehem Pike at Skipback Pike, we've got an accident there. Pennsylvania Turnpike westbound jams Willow Grove to Fort Washington. 95 southbound heavy Cotman all the way into the Vine. This traffic report brought to you by S&T Bank. Join them for Days of Delight. Their Feel Good campaign will have you saying, "This is why S&T Bank is my bank." Enjoy a free financial literacy guide. Visit the MIM branch or online at stbank.com. Member FDIC. And that's your traffic on 93.3 WMMR.
WMMR presents Preston and Steve's Bizarre File.
All right, brought to you this morning by DelcoTrimLight.com. You can schedule an estimate today. Visit DelcoTrimLight.com. Start with a story out of Georgia. An argument over who stole Vienna sausages at a nursing home ended with one man being stabbed.
I can see that.
Police say that they were
That's
called
like currency at the old
Where are
age
the
home.
sausages?
to a nursing home last week where they found a man who had been stabbed in the chest.
Those sausages were from Vienna.
Investigators say one man accused another of stealing his can of Vienna sausages.
I'm going to kill you now.
During the argument, one man pulled out a knife and stabbed the other one. It's unclear if the man who was stabbed was the one who lost the sausages or not. We used to use those things for fishing bait, man.
Yes.
Really? I don't think I've ever had one.
They're not bad.
You know,
okay.
You just throw away. You wouldn't hate it.
It's one of the few bait fish food you can eat, right?
Yeah, it's
you
a
don't
bait.
eat worms.
No,
right?
it's a food.
It's a dessert topping.
The injured resident was taken to the hospital. There's no word on that person's condition. The other resident, whose identity hasn't been released, was arrested and charged with aggravated assault and possession of a knife during a commission of a crime. It is still
That's my Vienna sausage knife.
It is still unclear if the Vienna sausages were indeed stolen or not. A black bear with 3 cubs attacked a man in his Colorado home after they crashed in through a sliding glass door, and he was unable to get them to leave. State wildlife managers had to kill all 4 bears after the attack Thursday night. Yeah,
the cubs as well, huh?
Yeah, they had to kill all 4 bears. The man's injuries were significant, but he did not need to go to the hospital. The 74-year-old man tried to shoo the adult female bear out with a kitchen chair, but it knocked him into a wall and then clawed at him.
Oh, boy.
The bear injured the man's head, neck, arms, shoulders, abdomen, and calf before he escaped to a bedroom.
And he had Vienna sausage on his breath.
A sheriff's deputy chased the bears out, and medical responders treated the man at his house. His identity wasn't released. Wildlife managers suspect the bears were accustomed to people because of recent reports of bears in the area raiding homes in search of food. They found the 4 bears near the man's house, and they had to kill them. Standard practice to stop problem bears that associate people with food. This story out of Liverpool, England. 2 men were found with Kinder eggs filled with ketamine in their butts as they tried to sneak the drugs into Creamfield's music festival.
Oh, wow.
Marshall Maddox.
I got an egg in my butt.
And Harry Houston tried to sneak the drugs into the music festival. As they were about to enter through the north gate, dogs raised the alarm, and both men were taken to be searched by officers.
I got some ketamine in my bum.
Maddox handed a small quantity of drugs over to police, but then refused to be searched further. Before he refused, an intimate search was then carried out.
Wow.
Officers found a Kinder egg filled with 10 bags of ketamine in his anus. Hewitson was his name.
How did that get in there?
Also refused to be searched initially, but was found with the chocolate capsule filled with drugs hidden in his as well.
So by Kinder egg, we're talking like a Easter egg, a plastic Easter egg?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The pair
Actually, that's what I would use.
Were both sentenced. Maddox was jailed for 18 months. Houston, who also was also sentenced to 18 months after he pled guilty in the case. Australia's biggest airline apologized Monday after accidentally screening what they said were 40 minutes of penis and boobs to an entire aircraft full of unwitting passengers.
Wait, audio or video?
Video.
I gotta say, it's the absolute best flight ever.
It was reported to have taken
More
place
boobs.
on a Qantas flight from Sydney to Tokyo. The mistake apparently occurred after a technical fault rendered individual in-flight movie selection unavailable. The
Thank you for flying Qantas for the next 40 minutes. We'll be showing you some deep pics and boobs.
Staff held a quick poll, which resulted in a small selection of passengers picking this year's racy Dakota Johnson flick, Daddio, featuring a man's penis, prolonged sexting exchanges, and profuse use of the F word. And they wanted that to play on every screen in the craft. So it was apparently only about halfway through the movie that eyebrows were sufficiently raised for staff to then change it to something a little more family-friendly. A Qantas spokesperson said the movie was clearly not suitable to play for the whole flight, and we sincerely apologize to customers for this experience. With passengers complaining about that, the screens were locked, and they were unable to turn it off before the staff realized
You're going to watch it.
what was happening. You're going to watch this and like it. A passenger successfully landed a small plane on Friday after the pilot had a medical emergency.
Wow.
Yeah, successfully did it. The twin-engine Beechcraft King Air 90 was traveling from Henderson Executive Airport in Los Angeles, Nevada to... not Las Vegas, not Los Angeles. It was in Vegas to Monterey Regional Airport in California. With a pilot and one other person on board. The pilot suffered an unspecified medical emergency while flying.
We need you to forget what happened up from Rancho Grande.
Forcing the passenger to take the controls and make an emergency landing at Meadows Field in Bakersfield. The pilot was reported to be incapacitated.
Wow.
Firefighters saw the plane approach and land safely and then chase the plane down the runway and emergency vehicles to meet it. The FAA did not release passenger or pilot identities nor give an update on the pilot's condition, and they are obviously investigating the incident.
You would like to think you'd be able to respond that way with a level head. I wonder how I would be in that circumstance.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
I would probably put on that Dakota Johnson movie and just sit there and
get ready for it
I'd
to
pleasure
all end.
myself until I hit a cliff.
I think that's the plan, actually. All right, and that's it. We're going to wrap up the Bizarre File with that. We have a few minutes left. You got about 7 minutes to enter the word BLISS, B-L-I-S-S, and that is for MMR's Good Money It. We have $1,000 for you to win, so make sure that you enter that right now. And also, while you're in the entering mood, we have the Hershey Park Secret Text Trivia. So if you're interested in winning tickets, a 4-pack of them to Hershey Park and their Halloween and Dark Nights, text the word Hershey Park to 39333. We're going to send you this trivia question later on. We'll ask you to call in with the answer to that. We have some guests. They are in our Acme Lounge as we speak.
Legends!
Ready to go. And they're going to be performing tonight at Ardmore Music Hall. And we get all 4 of the Wooten brothers back in our studio again when we return. We're also going to have Jason Alexander on later on and actor Steven Weber. A bunch to get to. So we'll take a break and be back in a moment with those guys. Stay put.
Preston and Steve.
I usually don't find farts funny at all, Kathy. That one caught me off guard.
Okay. Because it's more of a it's more of a raspberry than it is actual gas. Yeah. So.
And also the mystery of it. It's like an escape room. How did it happen?
We don't know. We may never know.
We may never know.
Okay. Music news.
Yeah.
Turn the
one more.
Stop the press. Go ahead.
What was that? That was a mistake. I just can't. There can't be more of these gems.
Can you do that more than twice?
It's like finding a separate cabin in a diamond mine.
Okay. See, sometimes when you hit this button, it doesn't work. So when I hit it twice, it went burp, burp.
Yeah.
Look, Chuck's laughing so hard he's crying in the other room. I love it, Chuck.
Anybody that doesn't find that hilarious is dead inside.
It's dead inside.
Or just a little more mature.
Oh, God.
I wish the button was
What is
better.
great is that you have a massive company, a media company, Beasley, who's currently paying us to do this.
Dude, they took us down to D.C. last week
did
for,
for some big award in front of senators.
Yeah.
That's how stupid we are.
Or
they're bad.
Genius.
Or we
make a living.
fast one, yeah.
We make a living out of this.
There you go.
Follow your dream.
2 is funnier than 3 or 4, I think.
Yeah.
Wait.
It sounds like a wrong answer type of thing. Is it Sputnik? Ah, man.
1 for yes, 2 for no.
Or double A.
Triple O.
MCO.
Let's stick with rumors. Viewers, will they want to keep up with the Kardashians if Kourtney leaves? And we might find out for months now.
Oh, please.
Tension between Kourtney and her sisters have been rising. Last summer on Keeping Up, viewers saw Kim and Kourtney reach an almost breaking point over their differing priorities in terms of family and work. And in a recent interview with Paper, Kourtney confessed that she'd love to leave the show in the dust. She said, I will always say I want to move away someday and just be away from it all. Sail away.
Sail away.
No one will ever see me again. I keep throwing up different places. I'm going to throw up.
I keep throwing up in different places.
I keep throwing up.
Puke.
I keep throwing up different places, but then I'll go there and visit. And she's going to sail away.
She's going to sail away, just like Sticks.
But then I'll go there to visit, and I'll be like, nope, this isn't it. But I'm glad I came.
She's just afraid of Chloe coming after her.
Yeah. She said, we've just been to Finland. And I was like, check. It's great for me to visit, but I'm not going to move there. Maybe Norway, Switzerland. I've got lots of ideas.
She does have a lot of ideas.
That's according to Kourtney.
They're all annoying.
On Sunday, producer Ryan Seacrest was put on the spot by an ET reporter who brought up the subject.
Do you think that Kourtney is gonna leave the show? You think Kourtney's gonna leave Keeping Up with the Kardashians?
ET is a reporter, mind you, so yeah.
I'll always be right here.
Seacrest seemed taken aback.
Why? Because I'm from another planet? Are you a xenophobe?
But then said, well, if the cameras go away, as long as they can come back, Kourtney.
On my home planet, I was a botanist.
He said, they can go away for a little bit, but bring them back so we can do another season or 2. Honestly, I don't know how they do it. He said, I couldn't do it no matter what they were paying them.
I can make things levitate. Just thought I'd throw that in.
He said, I could not do it, so I give them a lot of credit for having those cameras in their lives all the time. And I love you, Kourtney. Love her.
He loves her.
He loves her.
Well, that show has made millions for him.
Oh, my God, yes.
Honestly, I have to say, I thought that meteor would have crashed Earth long ago. And they still keep renewing it.
It's very resilient.
I wonder if it's like
don't get it.
Alcoholism or something. You're just addicted and you just do it out of routine.
Maybe. You know what? American audiences always need, though, that super rich family to watch.
True. And there's
what
no.
They do.
Well, I guess there are a few of those. In fact, maybe even Dynasty itself is on. But
I think that kind of covered the bill for a while. Then now we get reality TV, which takes over for that.
So that's like the Real Housewives and all that stuff. Maybe you're right.
So,
I don't know. It's annoying.
I don't watch any of them.
None of it?
I'm a botanist.
Okay. No interest.
Yeah.
All right, so this is interesting. Haven't heard this name in a little while. All eyes were on Val Kilmer as he took center stage Sunday night at a benefit for his Twain Mania Foundation, created to impact the iconic writer Mark Twain's legacy to children. The 59-year-old posed on the carpet with a pair of binoculars around his neck.
How's he looking, by the way?
I have not seen the photos, Steve. I'm not really sure if we have any. If you guys
to be honest,
find any, that'd be great.
There was a point there. Huh? Yeah, it's okay. He had throat cancer, some sort of variation
I've got a
of
little
throat
information
You got it?
on that coming up. But we're looking at a picture of him right now. He looks. Now he was heavy for a while.
He was very heavy.
He got pretty hefty. Looks like he's lost the weight, but man, has he done some work on his face.
He's Mickey Rourke-ified.
Yeah, he's aged clearly, but you can tell that there's been some work around the eyes and the cheeks. And that just, I couldn't tell you. If you showed me that picture and said, who is this? I couldn't tell you that's Val Kilmer.
It looks like a drag queen pretending they're Val Kilmer.
Yeah, kind of like that.
He's not going to be featured in the new Top Gun?
Yes, he's going to be in it.
Is. So his son Jack was also in attendance for this event, but the appearance previews a comeback of sorts for the star, who is set to hit the big screen again in Top Gun Maverick. Last summer, Cruise and last summer, Cruise said of Val Kilmer that he was doing really well. While it's unclear what prompted Kilmer's hiatus from Hollywood, it became apparent that he was struggling with health issues during the hiatus. In 2015, a spokesperson told People magazine he was rushed to the hospital for a possible tumor. In 2017, he admitted that he had throat cancer and had recovered after a 2-year fight. He told the Hollywood Reporter that the procedure on his trachea made his voice raspy and left him short of breath.
I really like Val Kilmer. He's been in some really great stuff. Top Secret and Real Genius. And I love him in MacGruber.
Yeah.
He's freaking hilarious.
And Steve, you're forgetting
Tombstone.
Tombstone, thank you.
One of the greatest performances.
Yeah, definitely.
I bought the man's shirt.
I think his best performance, and The Doors. He was phenomenal.
So what would you say? So greatest Val Kilmer, Tombstone? That is such a great performance.
I got to go neck and neck with The Doors. They were both so good. But yeah, his lines in Tombstone are
so
just
great,
wonderful,
so great.
I love Real Genius, though. I love that movie.
Have you ever seen Real Tombstone?
I've never seen.
It's really good.
Is it?
Yeah, it's about Doc Holliday in college.
Only he uses a laser instead of
I'm gonna use a laser, honeysuckle. I'm gonna make a whole big house into a Jiffy Pop.
What was that? Was that him?
That was his bite in.
in Top Gun, his
Yes.
best pilot.
Yeah,
hit it again. That's his teeth coming together. Oh my God!
That's right, Ice. Man, I am dangerous.
And there's the bite.
Right, man.
That line from Cruise, I hated. Ice, and then he pauses, man, and brushes off his shoulders.
You're awfully big there.
Horrible movie.
I'm 5 feet 3 inches tall, man. I'm a little tiny man.
But as much as I hate Top Gun, I can't wait to see the sequel.
Likewise,
I
because
really want
now-
to see it.
Because guess what?
What I said, and I thought they were going to do, is they're going to go more realistic.
Yeah.
You think
They're gonna
so?
go more, that's the word.
Okay.
And now with the availability of what they can do,
It's Steve. Wouldn't it be great if in the locker room saying they all of a sudden break into a dance number? We're going for ultra realism
Realistic.
here.
I want to see Val Kilmer though. You know, I want to see how he looks and how he's able to pull off Iceman, because what we just saw there up on the screen doesn't jibe with the Iceman I know.
I don't think he can't be all that cocky anymore.
You're not just writing checks. Your body can't cut.
What was that?
You're
Ice.
dangerous.
Man, I can't understand your words. Man.
John Hamm's in it, too. He was at the Blues game last night and on Saturday, and he's done a few spots on NBC for the Stanley Cup Finals, and so it'll be cool to see him in it as well.
I looked in Nadnan.
I'm sorry.
I looked in Nadnan.
He wasn't in Nadnan.
No, Mad Men.
Oh, Mad Men.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
You can't put your lips together. No, man.
I had a little surgery.
Yeah. You got a little surgery?
You look weird.
Tonight, E.T. gets the exclusive with Val Kilmer.
I'm gonna rip the Band-Aid off. This can go hard on you now.
You look weird.
Bring it, you little bitch.
All right, what else I have for you? 3 months after Nicolas Cage and Erica Quakey got hitched in a quickie Vegas wedding.
A quickie.
Quakey was quickie.
You remember
Nicolas Cagey
tried to immediately get it annulled.
4 days.
Yeah.
Vegas. So after this, a judge in Clark County had granted them a divorce. Cage filed for an annulment 4 days after the wedding.
He was drunk. He freely admits.
That was his fourth wedding, by the way. Claiming that it was based on fraud because Quakey did not disclose her criminal and romantic history to him. See, you didn't tell me about your criminal history.
You didn't tell me about your criminal history.
TMZ
If I had known, I wouldn't gone all quakey on you.
TMZ reports that the annulment didn't happen, and it is
I'm his friend now.
Oh,
See, the little guy's my friend now. He's got great fingers.
Quakey. Okay, so reports that the annulment. TMZ reports the annulment didn't happen, and it's unclear if Quakey will receive the spousal support that she has requested. So, honestly, I don't know what's going on there.
I love Nicolas Cage Nicolas Cage has become what he's wanted to become the most. It's basically an Elvis type character. He goes around, in these like where here he's got some sort of animal print leisure suit on. This is ridiculous.
What would you do to make your butt look good in a photo?
Ooh, I'd have it wear a cowboy hat.
For celebrities and social media influencers, it's about contorting the body for the best rear view.
Yeah.
All right, so you know what to do, Kathy?
I'm not sure. I'm sure it's probably a little arch in the back.
Well, for me, it's bending over and pulling the cheeks as far apart as possible. Right,
That's a different type of photo.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's
I
not
misunderstood.
What they're talking about.
I think so you can see everything, where you can see where the skin starts to turn color.
Oh my God.
Right? Is that what you're talking about?
Listen, I didn't even realize I was doing it, but I was, I mooned my daughter.
Oh, no.
Oh, yeah. It's just,
Dear.
yeah, but I brown-eyed.
Oh no, your poor kid! You are just traumatized her for life.
So is that how you take a proper ass picture?
I don't think any child should see their father's butthole.
Ever.
No.
Write that down.
Do what I did and just feel it.
It scarred her. She was like, she freaked out. I thought more like, I was thinking more in the veins of my son.
Hey, Kath, our next guests are performing at Ardmore Music Hall tonight. Before I welcome them here, I'm going to wake you up a little bit of music from them.
6 a.m. Monday morning. No time for sleeping. No time for yawning. There's no day off and no vacation. Just hard work, dedication, and perspiration. You know it's time to sweat. I need to sweat.
Going to be sweating tonight on stage. Ardmore Music Hall show at 7:30. Please welcome Reggie, Roy, Joseph, and Victor, the Wooten Brothers. In Philly, y'all.
Good morning.
Good to see you guys. Thanks for being here this morning.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
And Joseph, a regular now.
He is. He has to be at any mail.
Yeah. Probably your fourth visit here, I think, to our studios.
I think so. Somebody was in my park spot.
You were here with Steve Miller just recently when we had a great conversation, and we were going back looking at the videos when we had a whole setup here and you guys performed and just blew the roof off the place. And it was so great. And then I forgot Preston joined you on drums for a little bit, and I could tell because Preston's drummed with a lot of people, but there was nerves. But
oh my God,
you were loving being with a caliber of musician like these guys.
Well, it was off air because we were done and the interview was finished, and I was like, guys, hey, there's a drum kit over there. Do you mind? And Steve's right. So I've jammed with Questlove, Mike Portnoy. Antonio Sanchez. I've played with some really good players, but it was the most special playing with you guys. Without question, I think it is the highlight of anything I've done musically.
It sounded so good.
I'm gonna play a little clip.
All right,
because our listening audience doesn't know.
Groove, man.
I literally sat down and I just started playing a funk groove, and then they started playing this.
Get up. Get up. Get up.
Come on now.
Hit me now.
It was so much fun. It was so much fun.
I think Roy comes over. He's like, oh, well, it's a little better than I thought. Yeah.
I was good. You guys, occasionally, do people get up and play with you or jam with the Wooten Brothers, or is it a brother collective only?
It happens both ways. Most of the time, we just get up and play the show, but sometimes the great musicians are in the audience, and if they're in the audience, if they've come to see us, wow, you let them be a part of it.
It's so magical with you guys, all the brothers, and all extraordinary at your various instruments and your performance and the artists you've played with. But reading about you again when you were kids, you were Army brats, and yet your parents were very supportive of your love of music and would take you to concerts.
Yes.
And you had some luminaries that you saw, like James Brown and stuff like that. Who were some of the artists that you saw? Who did your parents take you to see?
Curtis Mayfield. Well, we actually opened for Curtis Mayfield.
Curtis Mayfield on the Superfly tour, was it not?
Right. Yeah. Yes, it was.
Wow.
Yeah.
We were young.
Yeah.
War. Don't forget War.
War.
Wow.
Yeah.
But the Temptations and we opened for Frank. Well, before it was Frankie Beverly and Maze, when it was just Maze.
Wow.
We opened for them, the SOS band.
How old are
Temptations.
you at this time?
Well, by the time it's the Temptations, we're like I'm in high school. Victor's
Okay. In high school, though.
But
it's pretty friggin' amazing.
When we opened for War, Victor was in kindergarten. Victor was he literally just learned to sign his name. He was in fifth grade. He was 5 years old. I was 8 years old, and the older three brothers were 11, 12, and 13. We were young.
Yeah. And
go ahead.
I was going to say, going back to the very beginning with your question, what concerts they took us to, it reminds me of before Victor and Joseph were born, me, Reggie, and Rudy got a chance to dance with Chubby Checker.
Oh,
that's great.
And then we also got a chance to dance with James Brown.
So your dance game has to be pretty good as well, right? I mean, if you're up with Chubby Checker, he knows his stuff. So so you could have actually been, at this point, you could have been a dance team as opposed to...
Well, we were part of that. The reason that I can play drums is because Roy was so good at doing James Brown, I would cover on the drums, and then Roy, that was like a whole set of Roy going up and do the James Brown thing.
That's great.
Wait, the singing and the dancing?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask you, because you guys,
nice.
You guys are innovators, and speaking to you, Roy, and I didn't realize this. Did you invent something called the drumatar?
Oh, yes. It's a combination of drums and guitar. Where I'm using my fingers like drumsticks.
That's pretty wild. And then what is the Roy L keyboard?
That's where I took the guitar and laid it flat like a keyboard so I could get all the notes.
Wow.
Get nerdy.
So with the drum kit guitar, you did all the engineering on that? You took the trigger pads and everything and put that together?
I just had the ideas, and I had friends that could put it together.
Okay.
Yes.
Because that's complex. There's a lot
complex.
going on there.
I hope you own all the rights to that, do you?
Well, some of the design,
Okay, all right.
Stuff with my friends, yeah.
You don't want to get screwed out of that.
Reggie, what's it like being the senior of the crew? Are you the default leader by age alone, or
No, I enjoy it. I was just trying to be the cool big brother, so they all have a good time. And so we're having a good time.
Did you help open up the world of playing an instrument to all these guys?
Yeah, I did, especially with Victor and Joe. Victor was 2, so I started him at 2, and on bass, and Joe was 5, started him on keyboards.
Is that because you needed a keyboard player and a bass player?
100%.
Yep.
We got it.
Yeah.
Reggie,
if you can't find a band, make your band.
You make your band. And who's closest to you? Your brothers. They're right down the hall. Reggie, did you toured with Ginger Baker, correct?
Oh, yes, I did, in Germany, yes.
So the documentary is legendary about I mean, he was known to be a monster. What was that like?
Well, the documentary is true. Might be a little bit more in real life.
Really? The documentary undersold it?
Yeah. Yeah, he was, I hate to talk about it, he was 72 years old.
Yeah.
Right.
At the time. But yeah, he's...
I mean, he's a legend. There's no two ways about it.
He's a legend.
And he was an animal lover. That was cool.
Yeah,
Well, here's a question about that, because you guys are all, you're all virtuosos in your own right.
Yeah.
And you've played with a lot of great, names throughout the years. When you are playing with someone who's got a lot of talent, but they've got this attitude that clashes with that talent, how hard is that, as you, maybe as a hired gun or just as someone who is brought in because, the music works well together, how hard is that to work through when you've got ego but great talent? You know what I mean?
Well, I'll just
This
say
is Victor speaking.
It kind of depends on how much of that personal attitude transfers into the music.
Okay.
Because somebody can have a bad attitude off their instrument and then play. Usually it's pretty similar, though.
Right.
But if there's a person that has that attitude and it transfers into the music, and they're not letting you speak, or they're just trying to show you how good they are,
right?
That's not as fun.
But you guys have such many Grammy wins, and obviously your legend, and you may not say it, but we'll say it. Precedes you. So I would assume it's rare that you encounter the real prick who's.
It is. It's very rare, and because of the brothers, and Joseph and I learned from our 3 older brothers, but we can almost dilute any situation.
Yeah.
You can't get away with that because you'll stand out too much if you're going to have a bad attitude with these brothers.
Yeah. To me, it's one of those things you have to have a. In addition, and we'd talked, Joseph, about this, about the skill set beyond just the musicianship of working in a collective and being diplomatic and all of those mechanisms that go, even in a fraternal situation like you guys, that's a dynamic that, okay, you learn the music and all that stuff, but there's a whole other skill set that has to be in place.
Yes.
Correct.
That's what our mom would always talk about. She would say, what does the world need with just another good musician? What we need is good people.
Yo.
And so that really starts to hold water the older you get. You see good musicians out there, but if you can't work with anybody or nobody will work with you, then you start to see that, wow, there's some wisdom behind it.
When a person looks at a career, oftentimes they look at it in terms of talent.
Yeah.
And the talent is important, but that's not what gets you to keep a gig.
True.
That's not what gets you to keep a gig. What gets you to keep a gig is how the other people that are around you like being around you. Because there's always a bunch of people, like the Steve Miller gig is a great example.
Right.
A lot of people could play that show. There's a lot of keyboard players that would be good for that show, but now that I'm there, I try to make sure that he wants me there. Some days he's not in the best mood, and you make room for him because his name's on the check, not mine, right?
Yeah.
He's not there for me, I'm there for him. And part of being professional is being able to handle that dynamic and remember that, you're not the name on the marquee, you're working for somebody.
So with Bella Fleck and the Flecktones, who do you complain to?
There's very, very few complaints. But we don't always agree.
Right.
But one of the things Bela said to us early on, which is very good, Bela said, you got to remember, Bela's name is in the name of the band twice. So it's his band. Right? But he says, I'm a leader among equals.
Okay.
And he says, in some cases, there needs to be a leader. We need to make a decision. Okay, it's going to come down to what he says. But getting along is a whole different thing.
Right.
Because if you're just a leader and you can't get along, no one wants to follow you. But Bela was a leader among equals, and I like that.
It's interesting that Bela came up in the conversation because we have a mutual friend who's a musician named Jeff Coffin. Jeff is in the Dave Matthews Band, and Jeff says to say hi to all of you guys. Jeff is actually listening right now in Nashville, and he says last night I saw Bela and Edgar Meyer's trio at Vanderbilt, and he was thinking of you guys, the Wooten brothers. So how long have you guys known Jeff, and how, Victor, if you don't mind explaining, how does that tie in with from Bela to you to Jeff to the Dave Matthews Band?
Well, Nashville is small, even though it's a big city now. It's small. And back at the time we met Jeff, anybody that was good would cross your path. We just gravitate towards each other. And we met Jeff, and then when Howard Levy left, the harmonica player, piano player, left Bela Fleck and the Flecktones. And we were doing just this little stint at a small club in Nashville. Roy and I were like, man, Jeff should come sit in with us. So we introduced Jeff to Bela. And then when Howard officially left the band, Jeff was the perfect replacement.
And then was Bela the connection from Jeff to the Dave Matthews Band?
Well, yeah, because the Bela Fleck and the Flecktones opened for the Dave Matthews Band. And Jeff is such a great person, a great musician. You don't have to question any of that. When the unfortunate thing with Leroy Moore with Dave Matthews and he got injured, Jeff was the perfect choice. They just called him, and that next day he was on stage learning music, and So Jeff's just a kind of all-around good guy, good musician, it's the person you want to be with.
It's funny because in radio we always talk about this into the decades that we've been doing the career is that you never burn a bridge. It sounds like that's absolutely the same in musicians at your level. You don't know who's going to be in a hiring position.
Sure.
Yeah.
And by the way, speaking of Jeff, did some of you guys play on that last record of his?
I think I'm on a track.
I think you are. Well, he had like 50 people on that.
Jeff's always recording, so who knows who's on what, But that's the cool thing. Jeff doesn't stop.
Yeah.
And that's a beautiful thing. He's just at that, age where he's just, I don't know what's the word, but he's just generating music. and being a good person. So he's the kind of person you want to be around.
And he teaches. I mean, like, he has got this day job with the Dave Matthews Band, and then he goes and teaches classes at Vanderbilt, you know?
Yes.
Yeah. Roy, you look like you want to say something.
Oh, I was going to say, we're talking about Jeff. Jeff is, the Flecktones are going to tour next year with Jeff.
Okay.
And Howard Levy.
Nice.
Oh,
And
wow.
the Tuba and Throat Singers.
I wanna
so
take
that's
it
going to
down.
be kind of in the holiday season.
All goes
next
well.
year. If all goes well.
In fact, you did a holiday song when you were here last time, and I was listening to it this Christmas.
Donny Hathaway.
So damn good. It's one of my absolute favorites because it's so atypical. It has the kind of a Boolean sound of a Christmas song, but it's so more it's more involved and beautiful. But that is my favorite version that you did here in the studio.
Yeah.
And so the holiday stuff, doing that sort of stuff, is it it comes with the territory of your musician? Or do you enjoy as we're going into the holiday season? Is that something you embrace?
I say yeah, because, the holidays to me always can use a little more spice in the songs, and so if someone can add some soul to it, or like the Tuba and Throat Singers can sing Jingle Bells in there, Jingle-la, Jingle-la. It gives some like spice to the eggnog.
Change it up a bit, yeah.
Flecktones did the 12 Days of Christmas in 12 time signatures in 12 different keys.
Yes. Wow.
So,
there you go.
That's taking a familiar song and putting it in an unfamiliar context. Right?
Oh, man.
I was reading about your late brother,
Rudy?
Rudy, yeah. And this is a legend. I don't know if this is true. I got you here. I'll verify it.
Okay.
Could he play two saxophones at once?
Yeah.
Are you kidding me? Yeah.
Yeah, as a teenager, as a young teenager.
How does that? How do you do that?
Big mouth.
No, Rudy.
Yeah.
Sax came really easy to him.
Yeah.
Like when he was playing the recorder in elementary school, just came really easy to him. And then he heard about Rahsaan Roland Kirk, heard a recording, somebody said, that was one guy.
What?
So then he was like, he had to do it.
Rahsaan played
I didn't
3.
even know that was a thing. Yeah, that's
Rahsaan played 3 saxes.
Wow.
And then a nose flute. He'd play a flute out of his nose.
While playing saxophones at the same
He was
time?
blind, yeah.
Yeah, he's blind.
Crazy.
So Rudy, I got to do it. I mean, he didn't say that, but
yeah,
he went and he had an alto saxophone and a C melody. A C melody is like between a tenor and an alto.
Mm-hmm.
And he'd blow too. He could blow in thirds up the scale. He could blow in unison. He could blow in octaves. Just
that's amazing that you can separate your. You know, Preston, you talk about independent with a drummer, with the independent. I mean, to be able to do that is mind-boggling.
Victor, what was his name again? The guy who could do 3 at the same time?
Rahsaan Roland Kirk.
Do you believe at some point in his life he stuck something in his butt and tried to play it? That's the only other place.
That's it.
That's the only other place.
It was a piano.
Probably so.
I want to ask a question. If you're just tuning in, it's the Wooten brothers that are here with us. It's Reggie, Roy, Joseph, and Victor, and they're playing tonight at Ardmore Music Hall. Victor, and I know all of you guys mentor younger musicians and help people out along the way because that's what great musicians do. I've seen some videos of yours, Victor, and a lot of great people say this same thing. And I'm asking you this because of someone who's always wanted to be great, like beyond my talent level. You always stress, and I know the greats do, that learning the basics is the most important thing, and learning things like groove and focusing on that. Yeah. But when can you go past that? You know what I mean? And try to learn challenging things and work on those things. I know it's important to get the groove and the feel and all that, but it seems like a lot of people are saying, well, just do that. But still, we want to play more than that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, you can do that the first day.
Yeah.
Yeah, Reggie had us playing, Joseph and me. He taught us some stuff I had a toy Mickey Mouse guitar. Joseph had a Schroeder piano from Charlie Brown. And Reggie taught us something the first day, and we did a concert the second day.
No kidding.
This is not a joke. I was 2, Joseph was 5, Reggie was 10. So I think my whole method of teaching comes from my brothers, where most of us teach you based on what you don't know. Reggie teaches based on what you do know, and we put it into practice right away. So you get to enjoy being inside of it, like a kid learning a language. You don't make them practice. You just let them talk however they do it. But you can take it to that place the first day if you're inspired.
Right.
I think that makes such sense. I was explaining that same concept because if it's just repetition and you're building that, you're excited by something. You're excited by an instrument. You're excited by. For me, it's a lot of tech and software and editing and what can I do? Okay, if you don't get to a morsel, a tidbit that's and it doesn't help move you along. So you got to have those moments.
Absolutely. Young kids have that mentality anyway.
Right.
You tell a kid to do one thing, he's doing 10.
Yeah.
Right? You got to, no, come back, do this, just do that. The brains are wide open.
Yeah.
So learning music at that age is very, very crucial and critical. But as the teacher, you can't squash their creativity. Okay. We just usually do the one thing I'm asking you to do. They want to do 10 things. Let them do 10 things.
Okay.
Yeah, wow.
There's a really cool thing that's been happening in high schools around here, and I'm sure it's around the country as well. But they are, because I grew up going to, I took all the band classes in school, and of course you learn, sticking and scales and all these fundamentals and everything, and that's great, and reading music and so on. But they're now offering classes that are available just to get together and jam. Even though you don't really know the language per se, the written language of music, they're now encouraging just that part of it. I'm so glad that's happening.
Think about it, Preston. Think about it. When you're learning to talk, you jam.
Yeah.
No one gives you a word and says, "Go sit in a room and practice that word over and over."
No, it's true.
You jam.
But we forget that system, and I think that's something that you fall into that trap of not. That's why all those language programs that came out after a while were like, they know unless you're able to converse quickly, you're not going to employ it. It's just not going to work.
Once you learn a new word in a language, a teacher immediately says, use it in a sentence.
Yeah.
It doesn't say go sit there and practice it.
Right.
Avocado.
Exactly.
Victor, in my record collection, I have live at the United Center, Chicago, December 1998, and it was Dave Matthews Band, and you got unjammed with them. And it's a really legendary show. You did 41, among other songs. But I want to ask you as a musician, when you're out in a band like that and just jamming, like we're talking about, how different is that feeling for you as a musician as opposed to being with your brothers on stage at the Ardmore Music Hall? Because you're just doing your job, right? And you're just playing bass. But is the feeling for you different?
The feeling is different because it's a new place. It's a new home. It's a new family. It's a new band. And I'm a guest.
Yeah.
Playing with the brothers is so much fun, but it's also so familiar. Playing with the brothers takes me back to my youth, 2, 5. Playing with Dave, for one, is most of that band we grew up around in Virginia. Exactly. We knew Carter and Tim Reynolds and all these guys. So I just, this is going to sound like cheesy, but I just feel like love and gratitude for these guys because we knew them before they had nothing.
It makes sense. It absolutely makes sense.
And to be on stage with them as their guest in front of however many thousands of people, it just feels amazing. I'm just so happy for them. Yeah. And, but I'm a guest, so I'm not there to spin the bass around my neck, do a backflip. No, I want to honor them and do my best to make them shine.
Right, you're in their house.
Yes.
I wanted to ask you, because you're each so accomplished, at your instruments. Who have you been on stage with you were in awe that this and you've played with many, but who has excited you and made you awestruck in that moment?
This is Victor again. I could name a bunch, but since this person just recently passed away, I'm going to say Chick Corea.
Oh my goodness!
Wow.
Yes. Yeah. One of the all-time greats. One of the absolute
and you don't have to say much after.
Yeah.
No.
We got it. Yeah.
Anybody else want to join in on that?
I got a chance to do to be part of a tribute band for Aretha. Mm-hmm. And that was cool. But in that show, I got a chance to play behind Ronnie Isley.
Oh, wow.
Just one of the sweetest voices ever sung. My favorite thing, his vocal sound check, he came up and went, yep.
That was it?
Swedish Don't You That
was it?
Yep.
Roy, anybody come to mind?
I'm just for me, it's just meeting my heroes. I met Billy Cobham.
Oh,
and,
wow.
that kind of thing. And we're talking about doing something together, and it's just an honor to meet Billy Cobham, to be on the phone with Max Roach, asking about my drum guitar.
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
like, wow, man. It's like that was really.
It's cool because we get to meet people that we've we've been fans of, and it's always that do you want to meet your but really the track record's pretty good because people we found that are possessed of that kind of level of talent tend to be the more giving, more amiable people, at least contrary to what you might expect. So, except Ginger Baker, maybe not.
Yeah, Reg, is it Ginger Baker for you?
No, he was cool.
Yeah.
I made it cool. I wanted to make sure he had a good time.
Nice.
There we go.
Nice. Well, listen, we wanted to do something with you guys, if you don't mind. Since there are 4 brothers here, and they are all top of their field, I wanted to find out who's the best Wooten brother that there is.
Well, we can determine that. You can, by the way, you can see all of the. If you want to see music like of an exemplary, I mean, like you've never heard before, and we had it in the studio here. Ardmore is going to be tremendous. Yep. You got to see them.
Ardmore Music Hall. You can go to ardmoremusichall.com. By the way, the Phillies game is going to be done. By the time you guys go on, most likely. So you that has some really happy people, or some people that need some happying up. So either way,
after party,
you're going to be doing
party,
solid.
Exactly.
So we're going to play a game called Wooten It Be Nice. Wow. I came up with a goofy name just for the hell. Oh wait, is that a Woo 10? Here, let's do that again. 10. There you go. Woo 10. So what I've done is I have a variety of. I've split up your name into 2 different words, Woo and 10. And I'm going to ask you a trivia question, and they're either going to start with WOO. The answer will start with WOO, or have something to do with the number 10.
So it's fairly easy concept.
Yeah, it's pretty easy, and we'll alternate. We'll go between Woo and 10, and I need some signaling buttons for you. So, 10. I'm going to give you guys each a bell, and these bells have musical notes to them, and they play a chord. You ready? 1, 2, 3.
Oh,
isn't that sweet?
Nice.
Yeah. All right. So you're going to ring in when you know the answer, and you're going to give me the answer. Nick's going to keep score, and we're going to finally find out who the best Wooten brother is.
It went from a jam session to a competition.
By the way, if we find out that this caused a split in the band because of this contest, we're going to hate ourselves.
I've heard that these guys never fight, that they are so nice to each other, they've been nice to each other for 35 years.
Today might be the first.
All right.
That's right.
Nick, pay attention to who rings in first, please, because I'll be reading these. So we'll start with a Woo question. I have 20 of these, by the way. I have 10 of each. So here we go. Woo question. This is what trees are made of.
Okay, got it.
Yep, ring the bell. Victor.
Wood.
Yes, that's correct.
Wood. And that's about as hard as it gets.
W-O-O. It starts with W-O-O. It doesn't necessarily sound like woo, but it starts with. All right, here we go. Now we'll do a 10 question.
Okay.
All right. What is the name of the game that has 10 pins?
Joseph.
Bowling.
Yes, that's correct.
You guys are good. What if we have a 4-way tie?
We won't.
Bowlington.
I'll make sure we don't. All right.
Bowlington.
Next question. This is a woo question, guys. All right, here we go. What kind of creature is Chewbacca? All right, Roy.
Wookie.
Wookie. Yes, that's correct. Roy gets the point.
He's not a kangaroo.
Not a woo.
Wookiee monster.
All right.
Yes.
What is the name of the Seattle grunge band whose first album is titled 10?
Joseph.
Nirvana?
Incorrect.
Oh.
Anybody else want to jump in?
Oh, man.
What is the name of the Seattle grunge band whose first album is titled 10?
I can't pull it out.
3 seconds.
I can't.
Bit of a log jam.
Time's up. It was Pearl Jam. Pearl Jam. All right.
I would have had it.
Back to the woo.
You guys all Ric Flair fans.
All right, here we go. It starts with W-O. What kind of loudspeaker is designed to reproduce?
Yes, that was Joseph.
Joseph.
A woofer.
Yes!
Victor, you got to ring in, man.
All right, here we go. Back to 10 now. What is another name for a $10 bill? There's two different possible answers I have here. What is another name for a $10 bill?
Other than a 10.
Other than a 10. 3 seconds. Time's up.
Pearl Jam.
No. We would have accepted dime or a 10 spot.
A 10 spot.
I just went to Benjamin. I was like,
Benjamin.
No, that's 10 times 10.
Yeah, don't make that mistake and probably.
All right, here we go. What is the textile? This is a woo question. Textile derived from sheep.
Oh, that was Roy.
Roy. What was that?
Wool.
Wool. That is correct. Nick, what's the score so far?
Roy and Joseph are tied at 2. Victor with 1. Reggie with 0.
Reggie started this thing. He don't have to compete.
All right, we're going back to a 10 question now. Here we go.
Okay.
Who is on the $10 bill? There was a very famous musical not that long ago. Yes, Roy.
Hamilton.
Yes, Alexander Hamilton. That is correct. All
It's a
right.
good thing you didn't say cats.
All right, here we go. Woo question. All right. What is a slang term that is used as a euphemism for a male erection?
Oh. Joseph.
Wood.
Yes!
Allegedly.
Yes, allegedly.
Allegedly.
Woody would have been accepted too. All right, here we go. This is a 10 question. What kind of hat comes in 10 gallons?
Joseph.
Cowboy hat.
Yes, correct. Hey, 10! We're taking that or a Stetson would have worked. All right, back to the woo. Back to the woo. It's a good name
Back
for
to
an
the
album,
woo.
by the way.
Yeah, it is.
All right. Which bird uses its beak to drum on dead wood?
Ooh, Victor.
Woodpecker.
Woodpecker!
Which would have gone back to that erection.
Yeah, that would. All right, here's a 10 question. What is the Spanish word for 10?
Victor again.
Yes.
Diaz.
10.
Absolutely. All right.
Duolingo.
We're a little more than halfway through now. Here we go. All right, this is back to woo. Name a word that is used to describe dizziness.
Woozy?
Yes.
Killing it.
Roy with woozy.
Neck and neck over there.
We're playing Wooten It Be Nice.
We have a tie between Roy and Joseph at 4 apiece. Victor with 3. Reggie in 4th place.
All right. Just in 4th place.
It's a close fourth.
Nothing is everything.
I think you got this one.
Reggie
You're the
always
oldest member of the
lets us
group.
win.
Here we go.
I'm waiting for the popcorn.
What classic biblical movie blockbuster starred Charlton Heston?
Ooh, Victor.
Oh, Victor.
Victor.
10 Commandments.
10 Commandments.
10.
The 3-way
I was
tie.
gonna say Moses.
Moses.
Ooh, it's God.
All right, here we go. I have 3 more woo questions.
Okay.
All right. What is the name of the family of reeded instruments?
Got it.
Woodwinds.
There's
Yes,
Roy.
Roy.
Roy got that. Woodwinds. Absolutely correct. All right, back to a 10 question.
Okay.
What is the term for 10 years?
Joseph.
Decade.
Decade is correct.
Reggie jumped in first on that. He didn't ring the bell, but it's okay.
You said it?
Reggie said it
We're
before
gonna
I
give
rang
Reggie
the
a
bell.
Get ready, charity
Yeah.
point.
He was ready before I rang.
Have the fun.
Sometimes you forget you have a bell.
All right, back to the woo question. What is another name for a groundhog?
Victor.
Woodchuck.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, and then a 10 question. I have, all right, here we go. What Olympic sport has 10 events?
Decathlon.
That is correct. Roy with the answer.
Brother Roy.
2 questions left, and then we'll get the total.
Okay.
All right, here we go. What is the word used to describe the attempt to seek someone's love and affection?
Joseph.
Pepe Le Pew.
Woo.
Yeah.
Woo is correct. Pepe Le Pew.
Pepe Le Pew.
Pepe Le Woo. Last question, and this has to do with the number 10, and it is
10.
as follows. What are the first 3 digits of a 10-digit phone number called?
That was Joseph.
Roy. Was Joseph?
Yeah.
Oh.
Area code.
All right. Now, drum roll, please.
right.
Drum roll, please, as we find out
Price Waterhouse is calculating.
who our winner is. Nick, you have the totals?
I sure do. In 4th place, but still the strongest and bravest, Reggie. In third place, bass player Victor Wooten. In second place, bringing up the silver, is Roy, which means that Joseph is our winner!
Monday morning.
So we now know Joseph is the greatest Wooten of all. Ladies and gentlemen, we settled it right here.
I still want to know who's in my park spot.
I just want to know
Who's in his parking spot?
who can play the bells. If we put all 4 of those bells in front of one of you, who would be the best at it?
Well, he's
play
a percussionist.
Yeah.
But, you know.
All right, hang on. We're going to get a little jam here. Hang on a second.
There you go.
Reggie Wooten, everybody. For the first time ever, on the bells.
On the bells.
We're going to sell that
It sound
recording.
good,
by the way.
too.
Oh, man. All right, well, listen.
For Woo, the bell toll.
That's the next album. That's the next name of the next album. For Woo, the bell tolls.
Benny Worrell.
You guys play tonight, and I assume you're just kind of trucking around the country right now, or...
Yeah.
And we're recording also.
Yeah.
So,
When will that be out, the recording?
Sometime next year.
Sometime next year,
Yeah, we're taking our time with it, but we have a lot of new music that we found. It's a great story that we'll tell tonight with Don Kirshner from Rock Concert.
Oh, my God.
Sent people to our house, and we forgot about it, but a guy contacted me during the pandemic, said, I was at your house, I have this demo your mom gave me, and I was like, whoa, we got to get this copy of this cassette, see what's on it. We found the music. We're recording with it. We're adding to our old selves our young selves back in the 70s.
This
Rudy's
is so cool.
on this stuff.
Yeah.
Features our brother Rudy.
Really?
You'll get a chance to hear him do his two-horn thing. Yeah.
No,
That's what a tribute. What a wonderful tribute.
It's beautiful.
And the way Natalie Cole sang with her dad from a whole nother era, we're jamming with ourselves, our young selves now, and and we're even adding stuff, to our own self. So I'm not sure if a band has done that before, but it's real fun jamming with ourselves, and our brother Rudy's involved.
Yeah, it's great to have Rudy back in the studio with us again.
Oh, we can't wait for that. Yeah. That's awesome.
And we're going to hint at one of those songs. We learned a few of those old songs, so we're going to play one of them tonight.
Nice.
Okay. Excellent. Well, the show is at Ardmore Music Hall. You can get tickets at ardmoremusichall.com. It's really great to see you guys again. Thanks for stopping through Philly. Coming to see MMR. It's our pleasure. And hopefully we'll see you again soon. Good luck with everything.
Thank you. The
Wooten Brothers on the Preston and Steve Show. We'll take a quick break, come back in a second. Jason Alexander will be joining us when we return. Stay put.
Preston and Steve.
And I was like, I can't believe I just did that. I just did that.
I can't believe it either.
Wow. I know. Yeah.
Man in my little girl.
Yeah, right.
Poppy. Hey, Daddy, I just saw your brown eye.
Is that your butthole, Poppy?
It was quite traumatic, Poppy.
His name is Eddie. He wants to know if we can go steady.
I've never seen your butthole. I had to tell him I did, Daddy. He's not my boyfriend anymore, Daddy. Thanks for scarring me, Daddy.
Oh, the car pop?
Oh, my God.
Well, anyway, back to the story.
I saw your balloon knot, Daddy.
Hey, look over there.
Didn't want to see it, Daddy.
You probably shouldn't have told us that.
No, I'm glad I did. So the most popular booty popping position involves tilting the pelvis and arching the back.
Yeah.
So the
and then swiveling the head to the side. Bootylicious models such as Hailey Bieber and Isabel Goulart have recently.
My name is Isabel Goulart.
Have recently.
I'm going to change our last name.
Posed on the red carpet this way to highlight their pert posteriors in gowns with plunging backs.
So can you show Casey what he's? Do you know what he's describing? Is it? Are you?
Well, I'm going to give it more detailed. So here we go. Here's an influencer, Daisy Keach, who last month enlisted a plastic surgeon to certify that her backside was real to her 1.1 million Insta followers. Said, "I'll stand up straight and spread my legs a little bit to make myself look a little bit wider than if my feet were closer together." She says, then I'll arch my back a little bit.
Right.
And I'll kind of puff out my chest. I breathe out and my stomach cinches in as I pose.
God, what a bunch of nonsense to go through.
One of our calendar girls though does this perfect, and I can't remember which one it is. I'm trying to find her pictures, but like
is it Shay? Our cover girl?
I mean, listen, they probably all take
Yeah.
great booty shots, but there's one specific calendar girl, and I can't remember who it is.
The 19-year-old influencer from Los Angeles says...
Influencer.
She says a lot goes into properly accentuating her most famous asset, which she dubbed the Keech Peach.
The Keech? What's her full name?
Her name is Daisy Keech.
Oh, I thought you said Stacy Keech. I'm like, that guy?
Daisy Keech, and she calls it the Keech Peach. One of her other go-to tricks involves bending the leg that's closest to the camera while standing, quote, super tall on the other foot. If you arch your back a little bit and lean the shoulder closest to the camera forward, she said it will make your waist look smaller and your butt look bigger.
So none of them suggest putting your stomach forward on a table and pulling your ass cheeks far apart?
I haven't gotten to the whole thing yet, so maybe. But while an overarched spine may look good on the gram, it's not the greatest for your posture, says experts. With a neutral pelvis, the hip points and pubic bone align. By contrast, the sway back position and other similar moves create an interior pelvic tilt, which is placing a lot of strain on the pelvis, says chiropractor Marcella Thomas.
Well, of course, we know that the way you're posing is not the way you should walk around in life.
Some people do actually suffer.
Like, what are you going to be like this? Like, like Frankenstein?
Some people do actually suffer from an interior pelvic tilt, an issue that Thomas says that she would treat in her office using strengthening and stretching positions and spinal adjustment.
She's really taking this seriously on this, doctor.
I
could
that.
treat that.
I have that pelvic tilt just when I stand regularly.
I don't know what you mean by that, but pelvic.
So like my, I guess I have like a natural bend in my back and
which accentuates your
like an arch, and my pelvis kind of tilts a bit just when I stand normal. No, kind of down.
Does that happen when you try to touch your elbows behind your back?
Yeah, and then I do that and then tilt my head and
like when you lick your own nipples.
Right, exactly. Yeah, all very similar.
Yeah.
It's natural that my tongue goes down to my nipple.
When I give my Kathy, same. When I give myself oral,
right,
my butt really sticks out.
Sitting to my left, ladies and gentlemen, Adrian Zemed.
Adrian Zemed? I thought he was dead. Oh, my God.
We're not kidding. We've been talking about you forever, right, Preston?
We have. We absolutely have. We are fans. Has anybody ever said to you, I thought you were dead before, though? That's a slight insult.
Well, actually, there was an episode of The Simpsons where I was in one of their musical numbers, and I popped out of a coffin saying, "I'm not dead."
Here you are in this play, and again, Middletown, and it's two couples, and they're sort of there's some comedy, there's some sadness, but it's the way they've grown over the years. And what drew you to this?
Exactly that. I'm used to, I've been through the Eastern Seaboard so many times with musicals. And I'm used to just being drenched in sweat by the end of the show and doing it. And then I read this play, and it was such a simple play. It's just about two couples who have dinner every Friday night for 33 years.
Right.
They're best friends, and they're normal people, and life happens to them. And it truly is a roller coaster of emotions. I mean, we suck you in by all our little charming quirks that the couples have and everything, and then life happens. There are tragedies in life that you have to deal with, relationship problems with your spouse and everything. But what is the great fascinating thing about this play is that the words speak for themselves. I'm actually first generation Romanian, so my family came, to America for their kids to, be doctors and lawyers, and I come up to my dad and say I'm going to be an actor. And it's like, the funny thing about him is I won him over. I literally out of acting school, I got one of the last national tours of the original Grease, and we were playing in my hometown of Chicago.
You were playing Zuko.
Yeah, I was playing Danny, and we were going into a very big theater into Chicago, and there was and nobody really knew very much about Grease at that time.
Right.
The movie had not come out yet. It was just a hit on Broadway, and there were a few national tours. So the company manager said, "Look, we're having a lot of trouble with this opening night. We're going to paper the house. Tell your dad that you can invite the entire congregation." So,
oh man, that's a
I didn't mention that my father is a priest, an Orthodox priest.
Right,
They can get married.
And Greece is very
Eastern Orthodox priests can get married.
Greece is very profane.
Oh God,
yeah,
yeah. The stage
Are you
show.
kidding?
Yeah.
I'm giving the finger on the show, and it's just like the original Greece was not meant for kids. It was meant for adults looking back on their lives in high school.
So he brings down the congregation.
So there were 500 Romanian people screaming and yelling, and they had their gypsy violins, and they were going singing the act. Every time I came out, there was a big cheer. It was then that my father was won over, and he kind of, although he didn't understand when I ended up getting television and film, when I was doing TJ Hooker, he didn't really understand what that was all about. So he says, you work for 1 hour. What you do rest of week?
That's great.
You are a bum. I got into this business because I wanted to be an actor.
Right.
That's it. I never even wanted to do television and film. I just wanted to work in theater. That's
Right.
all I ever wanted to do. And then one thing happens, and then you're just whisked away, and suddenly you're in Hollywood, and you're doing all this stuff.
You're good friends with William Shatner, right?
Yeah, I'm actually. We're currently working on a few projects with his production company. Actually, we're letting it out right now. We're actually thinking of bringing Hooker back.
Oh,
in a comical way.
That'd be awesome.
Perfect. Bill is 88. Yeah. But the funny thing about it is that when we did Hooker, Bill pretty much did push the envelope on asking for ridiculous things for Hooker to do.
Okay.
I mean, we had technical advisors from LAPD there, and he said, "Look, no, I got this idea. How about I just run over to the helicopter, and as it's going up, I just grab onto the rung of the helicopter, and when we're up in the air, I take my gun out and I go, bring it down." And the TA standing there going, nobody would ever do that.
The top text here says, "Poor man Travolta, my ass."
Yeah.
He made Bachelor Party, which is an absolute. It's one of my favorite films, and you have one of the best lines in the movie. I think personally.
Look at the cans on that pinball.
Well, you're telling him, man, I really would love to have a relationship.
I would love to have this relationship that you have, and someday I'll have kids and be happy. And hey, look at the cans on that pinball. That movie. Tom and I lived very close to each other. So we lived in Studio City, and the soundstage that we were shooting this at was in Culver City. So it was a pretty good distance to go on the 405 freeway.
And you've been on Bosom Buddies, right?
Yes, yes. I played Johnny Midnight, his boyhood friend from camp.
So you knew him?
Yeah. And we'd carpool to work because we could go in the carpool lane and everything. And as every day after we get in the car and we go, our careers are over. Our careers are really over. What are we doing? This is going to be terrible.
No.
All we did was show up for 13 hours a day and goof off. Almost nothing of what the script originally was in there. We just ad-libbed. We just goofed off. And honestly, some of the funniest scenes in the movie never made it into the movie because we had gotten an X rating.
There's a horse scene. There's a horse.
A donkey show.
Let me tell you about this. The donkey actually died.
What?
They brought him back to life.
No.
They literally shot him with some shot of something for him to go, and then he keeled over. And his heart stopped.
Oh my God!
And we've got all these people. There's like 100 extras. Many of the girls are half naked and everything. We're all standing there going, "Oh my God! They killed the donkey!"
Dear Lord,
you resurrected a donkey, Adrian Cement?
And they did the whole adrenaline thing. You know what I mean? They put the
Oh my
in
God.
his heart, and he came back.
The donkey snorts 3 lines of coke.
Yeah,
You definitely could.
it's a real good kids movie. I'm really proud.
You're thinking your career's over, but no.
And then, honestly, when we saw the first cut, it was like, Tom and I looked at each other. This is funny. What the hell happened?
Is there any chance you could go back and re-release a director's cut by any chance, or is it too late?
back then they didn't save that kind of footage.
Yeah, now they do all the time.
And they do it all the time because of everything they do. But honestly, there was one scene that was absolutely hysterical. So we're the bachelor, the party's not going very well. The hookers haven't showed up. We're sitting in the hotel room looking at a Shirley Temple movie. Right. And it's just not going well.
The hookers go to the wrong.
Right.
Yeah.
So then I say, Rick, let's go downstairs and get something to eat. I'm hungry. So we get into the. I'm not gonna do this. Say this on radio. This was cut. I said, sit in this booth. This is the best booth in the place. So he sits in there, and all of a sudden you hear a zipper sound. His eyes light up. Right. There's a girl underneath who is
taking care of him,
going to give him a happy ending of some sort. So I, saying my gift to you.
Yeah.
And we see the minister who's going to marry him walk into the restaurant and go, "Oh, Father, over here, come on, over here." So he comes to the edge and he starts having a conversation with us, and Tom's going, "Oh, Jesus. Oh, Mother of God. Oh, Mother Mary and Joseph." Oh, he's writhing and everything. And I say, he always says grace before he eats. So.
That's great.
He can't take it anymore. He gets up and runs out. And I said, "Father, sit here. It's the best seat in the house." Close up on his face, you hear the zipper sound, and his eyes go like
That's great.
Didn't make it in the movie. We had offended everybody else. They didn't want to offend the Catholics.
It's so freaking funny.
You and Tom were friends. Could you tell then what a talent he was and what he was going to go on to
and
be?
honestly, one of the nicest guys in the business. Everything that's ever happened to him, he deserves every bit of it. He's a great guy.
That's great.
Very talented.
Wow.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask you.
A lot of people don't know this, but Tom was not originally cast in that role, and neither was Tawny Katane.
Tawny Katane was the it girl of the time, and she was the White Snake videos. It predates, I think, the White Snake video.
Who was?
Well, we shot 1 month with the other cast.
Who was it?
Oh, no way.
It was Paul Reiser.
Really?
And Kelly McGinnis.
Oh, my goodness.
Did they get fired?
Well, the producers just felt there wasn't a chemistry going on and everything. And Tom, they had just seen a screening of Splash.
Okay.
Oh.
Once again, I have to point this out that Kathy Romano, Victor Wooten, considered to be one of the greatest bass players to ever pick up the instrument, in awe of your traffic reporting.
I know he came over and looked at the screen. He was like, "I don't understand how you got that out of what you're looking at."
He goes over to the brothers. He's like, "Have you looked at what she gets their traffic information from?"
He goes, "I feel like I'm in the Matrix." Did you hear him say that?
Yeah. He was comparing you to a jazz musician.
I know.
Yeah. It was like, all right.
Wow.
He's like, "Everyone has a talent." I was like, "Yep, this is mine."
Nice. Here's what I'd like to do. Our friends at Dorney Park have done a Dorney takeover here at the Preston and Steve Show and given us loads of giveaways this morning. There's an event that Casey and Steve are doing together. They are hosting this. They will be at Dorney Park for the Halloween hunt, and it is on Friday the 18th, 5 to 7 p.m. We have 4 packs of tickets to join Steve and Casey for this, and you get an exclusive backstage tour of the haunt makeup and costume areas, a private walkthrough before the public.
This is so cool.
And obviously you get first in line.
Yeah.
As soon as you're there. So let's take caller number 19 at 215-263-WMMR, and we will give you that 4-pack of tickets, 215-263-WMMR.com. You can, of course, go to dorneypark.com and get your tickets for the event that night as well. And they are open select nights through October 28th. It's the season. And by the way, their 2025 season passes are on sale now. And the season pass will get you unlimited visits for the rest of the 2024 season, including the new Tricks and Treats Fall Family Festival and Halloween Haunt. Plus, you get all of 2025. Ooh. So if you buy the season pass now, you can continue going until the park closes for the season.
Did we not have a blast during the live broadcast? It was sensational.
Yep. Iron Menace, the Northeast First Dive Coaster, is what we were there broadcasting live to highlight. So it's pretty awesome. So, all right, I think our next guests are about ready to go. So we're excited to have them on. They co-host this really cool podcast. It's called Really No Really. I even have a little intro music for us.
Oh, nice.
Or not. Yes.
Really? No, really. Really?
No, really.
Really?
Please welcome Jason Alexander and Peter Tilden to our show. Gentlemen, thank you for joining us. It's a snazzy little intro you have there.
Who wrote it, Peter? Who wrote it?
My son, Robert.
Oh, no way. Wow. Okay. Is your son a professional musician?
If you check out Boyo, the band, that's him. He's Boyo.
Okay.
Very cool.
I see. We're doing this via Zoom. You have a very cool Hofner bass hanging on the wall right behind you. Any story behind
We
that?
have a lot of instruments in the house. But I may say first, I just got so excited when I heard Durney Park because I'm from Philly.
Yes.
Born in Upper Darby. So, man, it's so exciting to be on the Powerhouse MMR.
Yeah, you're a row home guy, right? Born and raised?
I was a row home guy.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, my union rep at my first job was the Irishman. From the movie.
Really? Wow. It doesn't get more close to home than that.
No, but he got stuff done.
He did.
Yeah.
And if people were agitating you, he took care of that as well.
He got stuff because he was concerned about me.
I love the impetus for this, Jason and Peter. Apparently, you guys have been longtime friends, 27 years, I think it is. And so for the podcast, you kind of ported the conversations you would have stuck in traffic over to the podcast. Am I recounting that correctly?
Yeah, we would. The title comes primarily from how I react to maniacs on the road. Somebody will cut me off or do something inexplicable, and I'll just sit there and go, "Really, really?" Peter found that endlessly amusing. But the show was, Peter and I would. He was on radio for 30 years, so he always knew we could banter about this, but actually get the answers. And that's what the podcast is. It's two schmoes that want to know something, and we go and get we go to the source or we get the experts, and in a very fun, silly, fun way, we find out why these things happen. Why we saw the phenomena that there are people training their dogs to talk with pre-recorded buttons on the floor.
Yes.
Are they really talking? We need to know. We found out there was a question recently. We had a guy on who did a whole MRI study about, does your dog actually love you? Does it love you, or are you just feeding it? We talked to a guy who has a traveling museum of failure, which is ironically a tremendous success. So we went, what is that all about? And just on and on and on, from silly topics to really important topics. We don't do politics. We don't get into divisive stuff. We have a good time finding out.
This is us.
It's us,
This
Jason.
is exactly us.
And the type of radio show we do is exactly what you guys are doing.
That's great.
And
Yep.
Peter, we've long talked about the fact of, the podcast, the people doing the podcast have a podcast, the people recording the podcast have their podcast. But the thing that to break away from the pack, the ones that end up being successful, I think, mimic a terrestrial radio approach that's been tried and true over the course of years. And that's exactly it. You are a smorgasbord of different topics that are like, I want to ask how this happened, and I'm going to be curious. Jason, that's the role you take. And Peter, you're basically doing the collecting of the topics. Obviously, your radio experience lets you know what's going to be something that'll create some fodder for the podcast, correct?
Absolutely. Yeah. And by the way, what you guys do, it's all storytelling. It's all about stories. And the great thing is I always try and create something that I can do with Jason, because he'll go off and do a TV show or something. So I got to act quick, create the next thing. We've done some TV shows together, but this thing is a joy. It's been the greatest joy to do this with your best friend, to sit there and do this. We did an episode that blew me away about the forgiveness episode. There's a Forgiveness Institute. Thought it was going to be interesting, but it was mind-blowing and moving and emotional. So it's fascinating that the biggest of the big in their fields, the guy who's bringing back the woolly mammoth, we got him on to find out why. And there's a really interesting reason why. So there's humor in everything we do, but we start out with a concept that we really want to know the answer.
I love the fact that Jason, you'd mentioned this, is that you love nothing more than kind of going in with, this is kooky and weird, and then having your head turned around like, wow, that was an aspect of this I did not see.
Yeah, we did. It's not that we go in with an attitude. It's just that the things that make us go, oh, that's an episode, are kind of quirky and odd. And so it begs a kind of a snarky question. We had Tom Cruise's stunt designer on, going, what? What's going on with Tom Cruise?
Really? He's doing this stuff? Come on. Jumping off a mountain on a motorcycle, really?
And then,
No, really?
Yeah, and you find out what goes into these things and why why Tom is so drawn to it and what makes him so good at it. And, listen, I had a lot of respect for Tom before we heard all that, but you come out of it going, my God, Tom Cruise.
He's a lunatic.
He's a lunatic.
Yeah, give him the millions. He's like jumping off of cliffs. What the hell?
The funny thing for me is that I'm not a real podcast guy because we do that for a living every day, right? But I stumbled across your podcast when it just started, and I reached out to your social media manager, a woman named Elizabeth, and asked about having you guys come on the show. And here we are a year or so later. My favorite episode thus far was the one about ADHD. Can you guys talk a little bit about your experience in that conversation and what you may have learned from it?
Sure.
As you were saying that, I saw lint on the bed. I was thinking about what I have to do later. I'm so all over the place.
Yeah.
And I've managed to, radio was great because it was compartmentalized. And it was okay for me because I could do segments, I could do research, and I built my life around the ability to do something with ADHD. And we found out about the Holness family. And Jay, we fell in love with them, correct? They were unbelievable.
Yeah, and here's a perfect example of what you're talking about. So, they wrote a book and they have a whole program about ADHD channeled the right way and controlled the right way is actually like a superpower. They won Amazing Race, sort of using his abilities. But the surprise of that show for me was the kind of loving relationship that the depth of that relationship because of the compromises both of them have to make and the things they have to learn about themselves and each other in order to have a relationship between someone who has, a significant ADHD and someone who does not.
Yes.
And so the surprise there was about the relationship.
Guys, I'm going to do something here, and I hope you don't mind, because we kind of had some overlapping interviews. We have actor Steven Weber, who is on hold, and we're going to talk about Chicago Med with him. And it says on my screen here, loves the Really Not Really podcast. Do you mind if I
pay him to do that?
You paid him to do it. I'm going to loop him in.
Yeah.
I'm looping him in. Steven Weber, are you there?
I hate the Really No Really podcast.
Oh, I misread that. He hates it. No.
I hate it. No, listen, Peter, Jason, I'm so happy to talk to you. I listened to this damn podcast. And it's a tonic for me, okay? Because I listen to too many horrible political podcasts, and I'm so happy. All right, I'm going to shut up now.
I got to tell you, Peter, Steven texts me with details of things he's heard on the show. He really does listen. I'm not kidding.
That's great. No, we had no doubt. We know him as a man of honesty and integrity.
Yeah.
Well, I just like to listen.
All right. I love it.
All right, guys. Thanks for warming everybody up. I'm next.
All right, we're going to have you on.
The world is waiting for you, Stephen. The world is waiting.
2 minutes. We're going to have you on, Stephen. Hold on, just one more second. But how many of your how often do you have guests as far as celebrity friends that are outside of the? I'm just curious about this, but maybe hey, let's get our buddy on to share some stories.
We are not a celebrity-driven show.
Okay.
In fact, we check each other on this all the time. If we're gonna, and the reason for it really is just that there are so many of those that do it so well. That was never what we were interested in pursuing. So when we do have a celebrity on, it's usually because they're engaged in something that we're curious about, and the interview focuses on that. I talked about Howie Mandel and another one. We had Bryan Cranston is a good friend of mine. We had Bryan Cranston on because he made a statement where he said, "In 5 years, I'm going to retire," and I went,
No, you're not.
Why? Why would you retire? You're still functioning.
Yeah.
You're still a great actor. It's not like you're working a 5-day week, 365 days. Why would you? And we wanted to get the answer of why would someone enjoying that kind of success at this point in his life give it up? And that was the crux of our conversation. So it's always about something specific, and it can branch into the rest of their lives and interesting things.
Listen, we have we have actors that come on many times, and they're starting up their podcasts, and people have a lot of of gravitas and so on and so forth, but you just know it's not going to work. You guys have, I think, absolutely the proper tools to make it work, especially with the substantial radio background, and you're doing the legwork to get the word out. But the show itself is just engaging, and you're picking the kind of topics that the others don't seem to be doing. So the best of luck to you with this. It's a great project.
May I say one thing before we go?
Certainly.
We are looking, because we're doing a special episode on Festivus, If anybody in your audience celebrates Festivus, you can reach out to us at reallynorreallypodcast@gmail.com. We really want devoted Festivus celebratory people. So
I know plenty of people who celebrate Festivus, so I'm sure you'll
You
get.
want it with the poll and the grievances and the whole thing.
We'll get it. Excellent. Guys, thanks for joining us. Continued success. And
Thank you so
we'll talk
much,
to you down the
man.
road.
Guys.
Absolutely. So for
Appreciate
Jason
it.
Alexander and Peter Tilden. Really? Really? That's
I
our
love
podcast.
that.
That's awesome. All right, now, oh my God, look who we have on the line. He's one of the stars of Chicago Med.
Yes.
That's a little startup show.
That's a little startup show, but he's been in so many great things as well. Steven Weber. We welcome him back to our show. Steven, thank you for being a good sport, sir.
Are Peter and Jason out of the studio yet?
Yeah,
They don't come in unless they're gone.
They're gone.
we cleared the room for you. Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, thanks for having me.
Yeah,
no, our pleasure.
Yeah. So, how many seasons now for you, Steven, with Chicago Med?
This is I'm doing my 4th season.
You joined in the 6th, correct?
I did.
Yeah.
Yeah. And now we're starting our 10th.
Yeah,
phenomenal.
It's pretty. I'm sorry, it's pretty wild because you have this. You have obviously this is a show that had an established a fan base, and we had you on when you joined and talked about the different dynamics. Here you are at this point, and with by the way, an impossibly good looking cast on that show.
Well, that's why they brought me in for contrast. There's not enough people that look like. Kind of wrinkled laundry with hair on it. Let's get Steven Weber.
No, but
he used to be cute. Maybe people will remember that.
Well, I'll point this out. Obviously you were the contrast in that you were providing a point of antagonism to one of the main characters, and you have that Dick Wolf production. I think there's so many. There've been so many shows of this ilk, but because of I think what he brings to the show, do you know what I'm saying? There's something that resonates as a lot more accurate and honest. Would you say that's true to your experience?
I would. Look, well, yes. There's no getting away from the fact that a show like this needs to have, arguably pretty or handsome people to attract people to watch. That said, the show, especially this season, with the advent of new writers and a kind of a new perspective, is unrelentingly kind of gritty. Has become that less soapy and concentrated more, especially this season coming up. You'll see on the personal lives of these characters, and it's less for kind of entertainment value, I would say, or sensationalism and more realistic approach to this world. Look, Dick Wolf has the formula, and that's why he's so successful. I mean, that's why he'll end up being the most successful creator, producer of TV shows in history, I'm sure.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you, because you're Dr. Archer, and you come in and you're an actor taking on the role. At what point do you feel, in any of the shows that you've done, and you've done a number, do you feel invested enough in the character to go to, say, the producer or the writer and say, I don't see the character doing this? Or is that something that you just say, hands off? Because I know it's, you want to be invested in what you're doing, but when does that point usually kick in, or does it kick in?
My approach to acting is different from maybe some, or the same as some, in that I like being directed. I'm infantry, I'm not a general. I say, tell me where to stand, I'll stand there. Tell me what to say, I'll say it. That said, this particular character early on had a kind of a personal resonance for me. The character, Dean, has seen action in the military. He's got PTSD. He takes a lot of, he's a difficult guy to kind of be with socially. And I related to that because my dad fit some of those descriptors. Mm-hmm. And they were able, and the show was able to listen to me, and I told them about my connection to it, and they started to incorporate some aspects of it. So yeah, there are some things that I will be able to say, given the relationship I have to the show and to the writers, and say, I don't think he would say XYZ, and they'll say, yeah, you're right.
Right.
Because often the writers are creating in a bit of a bubble, and it's hard for them to occasionally remember, although I think they do an excellent job. When does one find the stones to say something like that to a writer?
Well, you're walking in the skin of the character. Yeah. So.
Yeah, I mean, look. What can I say? If I think I have something to offer, then I'll speak up. But for the most part, they hit it on the head, and I just do it.
Stephen, quickly, I have to ask you about this. I know we don't have much time, but earlier this year, I went back and I listened to It, the Stephen King novel. You narrated it. It was your performance is incredible. I was listening to that. I got tired listening to how much work you were putting into that. You had to have been exhausted.
Then my job has been complete. It was a long one. It was took a couple weeks. 6-7 hour days of just going full tilt.
But not just the amount of time, but your energy that you put into those characters and those voices. Even though you're standing in one place in a booth, I have to believe that you put in as much or more energy than when you're doing physical acting, for film.
Well, what can I tell you? I give till it hurts you.
Till it hurts me.
Look at always the professional.
What an artist.
I want to just quickly ask if your appreciation of the mechanism and of the writers and so on and so forth. You started in soaps, As the World Turns. And I was watching the movie Soap Dish, which is kind of a loving parody of all that. But it occurs to me, that dynamic of the control room and cameramen out on the stage and all that stuff, I don't know if that even really exists anymore. If there's anything like that trains an actor quite that way. Was that your takeaway from those years on the soap?
That absolutely was. I loved that whole world anyway. I loved the backstage and the control room and the cameraman, and I love the cameraman, the camera operators. But I found that whole thing so compelling, and that it was real and it was exciting. I think there's still a couple of soap operas that are around that still utilize that whole configuration, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a dying era in a way. If it's not dead already, sad to say. Things.
Well, your current character can revive it now, so
yeah,
you're medically trained. You can revive it. Yes.
I can revive it. Listen, it's all fake. I'm not really a doctor.
All right. We know you got to run, Stephen, but thanks for joining us. Chicago Med Wednesdays, 8 p.m. on NBC and Peacock. Thanks a bunch, man.
You bet. And listen to Really No Really.
Yes, absolutely will. All right. Stephen Weber, everybody, on our Xfinity mobile guest line. I'm telling you, man, and I had to bring up the It thing for just a moment because I listen to audiobooks constantly. My favorite narrator is actor Will Patton, and we've had him on the show.
Yeah.
But I think the one time that he was surpassed in any of those books I've listened to was Stephen Weber's narration of It, because there's tons of characters. He is just, he's using every range of emotion you can imagine.
So I was reading about when he was doing that, and he goes in, not, I'm going to say cold, but he goes in, he's going to follow the direction, but he is actually reading the book just a little bit before he does that. So if a character doesn't know something that's happening down the way, then he's going to project it that way. So I've heard nothing but raves about his performance, and you were obviously a big supporter.
And obviously, he's got a great sense of humor. The cast of Wings, oh my God, those guys all have something. Him, Thomas Hayden Church, Tony Shalhoub. Who was his brother? Tim Daly. So they all have that. They all have kind of a similar sense of humor.
The
don't
woman
they?
who played Faye, Crystal Bernard, the guy who was Roy, the competing airline. And I think it was from the same people who did Cheers.
It kind of lived in its shadow.
It did live in its shadow,
and
undeservedly so.
It was a bit underrated because of coming after. And in fact, Steve, I think it aired after Cheers.
It did, yeah.
And sort of, Frasier had that lengthy run after Cheers ended, but Wings is a great show.
And Amy Yal's back, I think. Her name is. Yeah, she was she's John Ritter's widow.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
right.
But the show was terrific.
Yeah, and they were. I love those guys.
Yeah.
It was so much fun. Wow.
Good soup.
Good. Yeah.
Hot.
I've looked for that, Nick.
know.
I can't find it anywhere. It's Thomas Hayden Church.
Yeah, he just sits at the counter and
Yeah.
he's served soup, and Amy Asbeck's character asks him how it is, or maybe it's Faye.
Yeah.
Ask him how it is. Good soup, hot. That's it.
And that's it. And it's hilarious.
He was a scene stealer, as was
Yeah.
Tony Shalhoub.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thomas Hayden Church actually has a scene in Cheers in one episode, and he played Eddie LeBec's teammate after Eddie passes away, and so Eddie has to deliver the news to Carla that Eddie LeBec has died, and so and then there's that whole dynamic where Eddie LeBec actually had two wives, and
Right,
Carla
yes.
was one of them, and so there's this scene where he comes in, Thomas Hayden Church comes into the bar, and the other woman's name is Gloria, and she's saying, "Did he ever say anything about me?" and Thomas Hayden Church goes, "Might you be that Gloria?" And she says, "Yes," and his response is, "No." Just this deadpan delivery is so good.
Yep. Well, all right. Hey, we have another surprise phone call.
Oh.
I did not expect this, but guys, CJ is on the line.
CJ?
Yeah. Hi, CJ. How you doing?
Hey, how's it going?
Good. CJ, what's your last name?
Miller.
And why the hell should we care about that?
Because I want $1,000.
We got to suck up to him now.
How about that, Mr. Moneybags? CJ, that's wonderful news. Where are you from, brother?
Nanny Young.
Manny Young.
You could just walk right over here and pick up your money if you want to.
In fact, bring us some bagels.
Actually, yeah, pick up some bagels on the way. No, that's awesome, dude. Congratulations to you. What do you do for a living?
I drive tow trucks.
You drive a tow truck. All right, excellent. Well, an extra grand will be pretty nice to have, right?
Yes, it would.
You know how you celebrate today? If someone needs your help, if they're broken down at the side of the road, pass right by them.
Yeah, just go.
Yeah.
Get out of there. So I ain't got time for that. I got $1,000. CJ, we're really happy for you. Congratulations. Thanks for listening, man.
Hey, man, thank you guys. Go Phil.
Yeah! CJ Miller, latest winner of $1,000. And we have another good money opportunity coming up in about 20 minutes, 22 and a half minutes, 21 and a half minutes. So listen up for your chance wins. Brought to you by Horizon Services, Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing, by the way. I'm wondering if we should talk about something else or take a break. What do you think, Case?
Talk about something else.
Yeah.
What do you think, Case?
I don't think we can talk about something else, and nothing that's going to take a long time.
Okay, then we should probably take a break.
Is there a God?
All right,
call with your opinion now. 215-263.
Something's quick.
Xfinity mobile gas line. Is there a God? Do you believe?
Should we do a
Or
Twitter
abortion.
poll?
How about
Twitter poll.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
All right.
Who are you voting for?
And why?
Something quick.
All right. What we will do is we will take a break and we will come back in a moment and we will get the bizarre file. And yes, we will have your chance at winning $1,000 just like CJ did. So be like CJ and win $1,000. Stay with us.
Preston and Steve.
They said we really need to get that guy.
That's like
for this.
I couldn't even imagine. And Paul Reiser's talented, man, but he's great. He just doesn't have the
He was
kinetic.
very funny.
Was he?
He was very funny.
Yeah.
There just wasn't a chemistry that was going on.
That's happened before. Back to the Future. Eric Stoltz was. They filmed for quite a while with him in the lead role. And
the
there's
scene where he falls and hits his head, that's Eric Stoltz's head. When he falls out of the tree, bonks his head on the...
I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's Eric Stoltz.
Wow. Okay.
Did not know that.
It's if you've never seen Bachelor Party, and it's worth going back for a visit. A number of people also texting in asking if we're going to bowl tonight, Adrian.
You know, it's funny. I've had the great
Grease too.
fortune and lucky to have two cult classic movies that are really. They're targeting completely different people.
Yeah.
And it's just really kind of cool after all these years. You know, in theater, which is really my first love, and that's why I still do theater.
Right.
If I'm going to be doing television and film, I'd rather be behind the camera these days. But if I'm going to act, I'd rather be on a stage because
could see that.
is the actor's medium. It's electric. It's like a drug.
Yeah.
Grease too. It was an opportunity to put it was my Danny Zuko that I put on film.
Right, because you weren't. They had to create created another character, which is basically Danny Zuko.
Yeah,
and it was a weird thing because you had Grease comes out. You have Travolta's on a meteoric rise. You have Olivia Newton-John. You have all these big stars in it, and then they go with Grease 2, and they cast not unknowns, but
they actually did something really kind of. Took a big chance.
Yes.
In what they did. They did not. It was very unique what they did. They also created they created a musical that was never a proven hit on Broadway.
Right.
So none of these songs had ever been heard. It didn't have a track record or anything. And a lot of people, Grease 1 obviously was a massive, huge success. But Grease 2 didn't actually do badly. It in its theatrical release, it made about $80 to $100 million.
I watched
at that time, and people think that it wasn't as big a hit, but today it outrents and outsells Grease 1.
Really?
It's more kid friendly, and it's actually more of the essence of what Grease, the original Broadway show, was about. It was about all the T-Birds. It was about all the Pink Ladies, whereas the movie of Grease became a vehicle for John and Olivia. In the play, Kanicki sings "Grease Lightning," not Danny.
That's true.
It's his car.
Yeah.
Everybody has had a song in the Broadway show to tell you their story, and that's what. So it's more of an ensemble piece. And Grease 2 was directed by Pat Birch, who was the choreographer of the Broadway show. So she wanted me to do that role badly because they wanted to put a rock star in that role because there weren't any known faces. Michelle had just done, I think, Hollywood Nights.
This is Michelle Pfeiffer
with Tony Danza.
Right.
At that point, it wasn't a big hit or anything like that.
I remember it,
And Maxwell Caulfield was not. He was an English actor, but hadn't done much. And they really wanted a rock star in that role, but Pat wanted me to do it. So she strategically brought me in. After they would see like one of Casey and the Sunshine Boys or one of the Gibb brothers or whatever, and then I went in and said, "All right, it's still his. All right, it's still." Until after 12 callbacks, they finally said, "Wow, right, it's his role."
Well, honestly, I watch it every time it's on. It has a good energy to it. You're again sort of a self-deprecating, funny guy. The whole bowling sequence is pretty. It's. You can't help but get swept up in it, and it has its own energy. And to this point, you had a lot of talented people involved with it.
Yeah, a lot of people came out of that thing. Even the Seagal twins went on. The girls who were the cheerleaders went on to have their own series.
You have a lot of fans in Philadelphia, and to prove that, I'm gonna show something to you. I don't know if anybody has made you aware of this or not, but I think Steve made an offhand comment one day about. Somebody getting an Adrian Zemed tattoo. So we do this feature every Tuesday called Tattoozy. People come in and actually get a tattoo from our show. It's called the Preston and Steve. They'll get a tattoo with us in it, and we've been doing it for years and years and years. We had a guy who called in and volunteered to get an Adrian Zemed tattoo.
God, I'm looking at it right now.
This is a guy. That's your face. On his right pec, it's huge. This was within the last year.
Within the last year, yeah.
Yeah, that we
and
had
the guy
this done.
eagerly came in.
Please tell me that's not permanent.
That's permanent. That's a real tattoo on this man's chest.
So when he's 90 years old and I look 90 on his chest,
yes.
What was I thinking?
So we took a picture of you from Grease 2, and that is now permanently on this guy's chest, Adrian.
This reminds me of something that Sally Struthers said about tattoos back when we were doing Grease. She said, "Oh yeah, back in the '60s, I was a flower child. I got a tattoo of a butterfly on my butt. Now it's going into its cocoon."
We're so delighted that you had a chance to come by here. We are big fans.
Nice to come in.
We knew you'd be great.
Yeah,
be
we
with
knew
you
you'd
guys.
be cool. That's great, man. Excellent.
It's my pleasure.
And you know what? We should do a promotion where we go bowling with Adrian sometime.
Yeah.
How cool would that be? Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, some love for Adrian Zemed. Thank you so much. There was an email that was sent out that we were going to have our studios checked because there may have been bed bugs brought into the area. And we've had everything checked out. They actually just brought a dog in to sniff. Yeah, I think it was Jack Russell is what it looked like.
Josie was her name.
Josie is the dog. And There's no bed bugs.
Well, no, that's not true. There were on a chair.
Was there?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Or yeah, it was certainly like
chair.
a warm zone or something.
A warm
like that
zone.
They call those.
That's
So
what I call my
there's
chairs at home. Yeah, my warm zone.
I think what everybody was worried about was an infestation, which I guess is not the case if it was just on the chair. I don't know.
Just on the chair. The rest of the place is apparently clean. Josie scoured our studio and nothing.
And I'm never coming back again.
You would have thought there was a radiation leak here.
Yeah. So I never told my wife that there was a bed bug.
She wouldn't have let you go to work.
No.
That was the first thing I told my wife, and I started laughing.
Yeah.
Because, listen, I'm surprised that's all we have. They're ripping the entire building apart, walls that haven't been opened up in years.
Yeah.
I imagine at night there must be a big vermin hoedown when we leave. Because you walk around, there's these caverns. Like a wall will disappear.
Yeah.
There's a big opening now.
Yeah.
You walk down one hall, it's 11 degrees, and then the next hall, it's 1,400 degrees. It's a whole new environment. It's like you're on some spaceship that's just, morphing all the time, and that's what this is here.
Well, I'm just glad that they alerted us to it.
Yeah.
Because during some of the construction, apparently they were removing asbestos, and nobody ever told us.
Well, that's when that wall went up down at the end of the hallway.
Yeah.
Because, and I almost walked into that wall. That's how quickly it went up. I started to turn down to go down to what I thought was Chuck's office down the hall that used to exist.
Like Looney Tunes.
And there was a wall.
So my wife will, when we go check into a hotel, it's always the same situation. We open the door, we shut the door, we leave our bags right at the door while she goes and strips all the beds and looks through all the furniture for bed bugs. She's like definitely
She's fanatical. So before you guys even enter the room,
we have to leave our bags at the door. There's an inspection.
I really wanted to come in a hazmat suit or some sort of bubble, but I couldn't find anything.
That would have been awesome.
Yeah.
I'm going through our text chain, and I'm like, hey, by the way, this is going on. I'm not going to tell my wife. And then Kathy immediately goes from 0 to freaking out.
Oh, yeah.
Get the F out of here. I'm not coming into work tomorrow. Who the F has bed bugs? Holy F, no, like 1,000 exclamation points. And then she says, do you know how hard it is to get rid of bed bugs? What's the company going to do about it? And when? And then Preston sends a GIF, of like a bed bug jug band.
Yeah, playing music. And then Kathy fires back, that's not funny.
It's not funny.
I think I said F you to anybody who's not taking this seriously.
And then I think Nick said, read Joe's email. And then Kathy says, F the email, F the bed bugs, and F whoever doesn't think this is a big deal. Where are we going to do our show tomorrow? Clearly, we can't go to the station, and we need an on-site location.
My house is
She was
clean.
ready.
My house is clean.
Yeah. You're ready to set up shop somewhere else.
100%. If you guys would have said, yeah, we have to do the show somewhere else, I would offer it up my house.
Oh, really? Oh, my God.
So it was one bug down the hall, right?
Yes!
Okay, I'm just asking.
Could you see Casey coming home? Diane wants to check him, so she takes out the blue light. Doesn't find any bed bugs. Just semen
Bathed in
stains.
semen, yeah.
All over my face.
We're good. The woman was saying that they have dogs that can do all sorts of that check for bugs that actually will.
Wait a minute. I thought you meant that bed bugs use dogs to travel around.
Well, yeah, to take
Mush!
for a ride.
I thought you meant as piggybacking.
You've never seen the bed bug Iditarod?
No.
It's good. Yeah.
It must be majestic.
It's compelling.
Yeah, good dog, good dog. It's good dog. Yeah. I love being out here in the open range. Yeah.
All right, let's do music news.
Now, Preston and Steve's Music News on 93.3 WMMR.
Hailstorm singer Lizzie Hale has confirmed in an interview that the band is compiling a special package to celebrate the 10th anniversary of its self-titled debut album. Released in 2009, the LP featured the single I Get Off. I get off.
Bill Weston, I get off.
So anyhow, Hailstorm...
I'm gonna shoot.
Oh, dude. I get off. All right. Now I'm thinking about Bill at the moment of ecstasy.
Oh, no!
I know.
Yes.
I know.
Bill's pillow talk.
Oh.
I get off. I'm going to shoot.
Yeah. It's about to happen. You feel a little tingling.
Heading down the tunnel.
Another
tunnel of love.
Barn door! Barn door!
Barn door's open.
Look at the door.
Quickly, massage my low-hanging fruit. I'm almost there.
There's no way we can do a meeting today.
There's
no way.
Steve just canceled the meeting.
I can't look at him ever again.
What do you think the recap's going to be like today?
Oh, Lord.
I think we got a C-.
Yeah. Well, the Bella show is done. Maybe he's talking to him right now. Is Thursday, June 6th. Today is Tom Araya's birthday. He's in a band. Casey, could you say that name for me, please?
Yeah. It's
if you don't mind. Thank you. Anytime that I actually need to say the word Slayer,
let him do it.
I'm going to have Casey do it. I can't yell like that.
The band.
We also have Tom Araya, singer and bassist from Slayer. Ladies and gentlemen, Slayer. And he is. That's the only way you can say the name of that band. He's 53 years old today.
Yeah, I can't yell like that.
He is 58 years old today, by the way. So, yeah, maybe it's time to hang it up.
It's possible.
You can only do that hardcore to a certain age, and then you're done. Slayer! Ladies and gentlemen, Slayer!
I actually never had that conversation with my father, but I just had that conversation with my son. I pulled him into a room. It was just he and I talking. I said, "Hey, listen."
You listen to me.
No. I said, "This. This is not to embarrass you.
Okay.
I'm just telling you. You're not a little kid anymore. You're turning into a young man, and so you're at a point in your life where you have to shower every single day, and you have to put deodorant on under your arms every single
right?
time."
I mean, that's a standard talk, right?
Casey, the reason we had the talk with my son, who's 12, is because he stunk.
Yeah.
And it was one of those things where it's like, dude, you need to shower more.
But it's
and
embarrassing when you hear that.
When you do shower, you need to wear deodorant because there's an effect, and it's just what happens when you get a little bit older. But like, he needs to do it because he's gonna get made fun of. He'll be the stinky. I don't want to have the stinky
You don't have
kid.
the stinky kid.
No.
One thing I didn't do, and throughout my entire school, and I've mentioned this on the air before, and that is junior high and high school, I never washed my gym clothes. Ever.
No?
Oh, I think a lot
The
of
whole
kids.
year.
The whole year. I know, right?
All right. Did you go to gym a lot?
Every day.
Okay. Were you active in gym, or were you a cool kid
course.
standing off to the side?
No,
Okay.
no. Yeah,
You were the kid that smelled like Doritos.
You had to participate. Doritos.
Yeah, that's what the gym suit would smell like if you didn't wash
We
it.
said hoagies. We go. We say to the kids, "All right, you got to take a shower. You smell like hoagies."
We should put out a Twitter poll. What does body odor smell like? Because we've heard hoagie and... All right, thank you, Kathy. It's Tattoos Day. Just a heads up, we will give away a $350 gift certificate from Floating World Tattoo and Piercing. But you need to text the word tattoo to 39333 in order to win. We will give that away towards the end of the program, actually at the very end of the program. So you got some time. But if you'd like to swing by and see what they're all about at Floating World Tattoo and Piercing, they're at 1729 South Street in Philly. And for artwork samples, visit floatingworldtattoos.com, or you can also check out on Instagram at Floating World Tattoos. We got time to pass along a few stories, so why don't we do that?
WMMR presents Preston and Steve's Bizarre File.
All right, we will mention our sponsor. The Bizarre File is brought to you by Horizon. With Horizon Services, get a new HVAC system installed, and you won't pay a cent until 2025. Horizon Services. Help is on the way. We'll start with this. Spirit Airlines said that a legal agreement called their Contract of Carriage may explain why two women were kicked off a flight for wearing crop tops. Tara Keddy and Teresa Arajo boarded a flight headed from L.A. to New Orleans on Friday when a male flight attendant told them to cover up. The frustrated passengers asked for an explanation, but the confrontation escalated, and they were removed from the flight without a refund.
That gob is inappropriate, harlots.
Spirit Airlines said that they are investigating the situation, but all passengers are technically notified that they have to dress a certain way to board flights when they sign their 60-page contract of carriage. The dense document outlines what is expected of the passengers on their flights and who or what can be denied from flying. The long and hardly read contract includes a brief section about passengers on board clothing. It says, a part of it says,
that someone shall not be permitted to board the aircraft or may be required to leave if they are barefoot or inadequately clothed or whose clothing is lewd, obscene, or offensive in nature. There are no other mentions of a dress code throughout the document. The document also mentions that guests who are removed from the flight are not eligible for a refund. Tara and Teresa don't think that their outfits fall into the lewd or obscene category. Tara said, we called Spirit Support, and they've even said that there's nothing against crop tops on their dress code. It's not under lewd or anything or anything like that, they said.
Yeah, I saw a picture of what they weren't wearing anything outlandish.
When Tara and Teresa got on the plane, they took off their sweaters because it was very warm, and that's when the flight attendant approached them and the conflict began. Tara recalled that he told them, you guys need to put your sweaters back on right now. She said, we were sweating because it was so hot, so we took the sleeves off our sweaters, but we were covering our stomachs and cleavages with sweaters because apparently that was so offensive to him. When he came back around to them, the situation escalated, and he brought over a supervisor who did not have an issue with what the women were wearing, but the supervisor told them that they had to listen to the attendant who made the call to kick them off of the flight.
Yeah, I'm totally down with it.
Tara and Teresa offered several times to put their sweaters back on, but they were still escorted off the plane.
Oh, yeah.
They recorded the incident and posted to Teresa's TikTok. She's a travel influencer with nearly 40,000 followers. Tara said they were using intimidation and power tactics on us. We've never been in a loss situation getting in trouble, so we were like, oh my God, what do we do? They had to pay $1,000 to rebook their flight on a different airline, and after all the hassle, Tara said they weren't even enjoying the trip, which was booked for her birthday. Another passenger was also told to leave the flight for an alleged code violation. Carla Hager was sitting in front of Tara and Teresa when the flight attendant started bothering them about their clothing, and she said, well, if your body is inappropriate, so is mine, because I also have a crop top under my sweater. And I took my sweater off, and I was like, so if they're kicking you off the flight, then they're also going to have to kick me and my toddler off the flight. And as a result, she and her toddler were removed from the airplane as well.
And what a great PR moment for the airline.
Right? So, Casey, I saw in the video, it kind of looked like what you were describing from the girls you saw at your daughter's college.
Oh, yeah, the bra with sleeves?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or low cut. One of them was wearing, it looked like essentially just almost like a top of a bikini, a little bit longer.
By the way, I wear that stuff all the time on flights, and I never get kicked
You're
off.
just so comfortable.
Yeah.
That's why. But like I've seen worse on flights. I mean, these kind of tops, or guys like T-shirts that have lewd phrases and stuff on them.
Yeah.
You see it all.
Yep.
This is silly.
Should you be kicked off?
No.
Like, that's the problem.
Here's the deal. If they are
now
going
have
to
to figure out a different way to travel to get to the places that they're supposed to go.
If they kick you off, you get a refund. If they're going to do that. And then in this case, they're saying no refund, which is ridiculous.
Put you on another plane.
Damn it. Damn it.
Here's a different story for you. YouTube personality and kick streamer Jack Doherty totaled his $200,000 McLaren supercar as he apparently texted and drove in the rain while live streaming himself. Video of his kick stream showed the 20-year-old internet star looking down at his phone in his hand as he drives along a slippery Miami highway Saturday morning. Seconds later, Doherty loses control of the vehicle, screaming as he glides across the right lane and smashes into a guardrail. Wow. The video of the streaming platform goes white, and his cameraman in the passenger seat can be heard groaning in pain. The two men can be heard struggling to get out of the wrecked vehicle, with one frantically crying, "Open the door, open the door." The footage then cuts to Doherty examining his wreck, wildly custom-painted car. The social media star, who is now shirtless in the video, kicks his mangled whip twice. And he said, "All my money's gone," before listing the upgrades that he shelled out big bucks for on the vehicle, including, in my opinion, a very stupid-looking custom paintball gun splatter paint job on the side.
It looks terrible.
Doherty purchased the McLaren at the end of last year for $202,000. There were 185,000 people in his live stream at the time of the crash. They all saw it.
And also, so his buddy there is bleeding, who's the cameraman, and he says, keep make sure you get this. The guy's bleeding. He's clearly injured.
Doherty's cameraman reportedly sustained minor injuries in the incident. The two men went to the hospital where the cameraman received stitches. Kick has banned Doherty from the platform now for doing that because he was driving and texting and doing all the wrong things.
Yeah,
He totaled it, man.
It's a horrible paint job.
8 hikers who entered a closed area of Jasper National Park in September have been issued with a court appearance notice after 2 members of their party required mountain rescue services. Now, according to a statement from Parks Canada, the hikers required helicopter evacuation from the site, but not because they were injured. According to a statement, the hikers claimed to be tired and unable to complete the rest of their hike.
They were airlifted out because they were tired?
The rescue mission diverted one of 2 helicopters
Well, take a nap!
from wildfire response for over 3 hours. The statement said, Parks Canada visitor safety specialist's role is treating critical injuries and transporting injured people to advanced medical care. Should a more serious emergency be simultaneously unfolding, a distress call without merit may limit the ability to respond to what could be a life-threatening incident. The incident occurred when the party attempted to climb Pyramid Mountain, a nearly 10,000-foot peak. While access to the Pyramid Lake area was permitted on that date, access trails to Pyramid Mountain were closed to all traffic and travel while crews responded to wildfire activity and ongoing hazards. There's been consistent communication and on-site signage notifying visitors of the closures. They should not have been there in the first place. And that is what I have in the bizarre file for you. It is 10:01.
93.3 WMMR Philadelphia. It's time for a Good Money It keyword.
All right, the word is contest, C-O-N-T-E-S-T. And you have until 15 minutes after the hour to enter that. 3 ways to do it. You can enter it at WMMR.com through the MMR app, or you can text it to the special contest short code number, which is 45911. One random entry wins $1,000 in a company-wide contest. Each winner will get a call from Beasley, so make sure you answer your phone. Contest rules are available at WMMR.com, and it is brought to you by Horizon Services, Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing. Again, the word is contest, so enter it now. We are going to take a break. We will come back in a second, testing your knowledge of the program with lesson question, trash, music news, too. Stay there. Doritos. And now that I remember, I do remember associating smell with, I think, my own body odor. You ever sniff your own pit?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, occasionally, yeah.
You have to check.
So I remember smelling when I was younger that I always thought that my own armpit smelled like onions and mustard.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah.
To get mixed together.
Now, would you normally eat that?
Yes.
Okay, so
on hot
it's
dogs.
pleasant for you.
Yeah, so I kind of liked it.
So
Yeah.
maybe that's why. Maybe you did actually, you're sweating out the onions.
I didn't even think about that.
Well, you can sweat out garlic.
Yeah.
Like if you eat a very garlic-based diet, and when you sweat, you can smell like garlic.
Yeah. Which is a fairly pleasant
Can you
smell,
sweat
right?
out
That's
apple
it.
crumbles?
Yeah. Apple crumbles.
Let's try.
I don't know.
What about chocolate chip cookies?
Blueberry.
I just want to see if I'm missing an opportunity here to sweat out chocolate chip cookies.
Yeah.
So hoagies, Doritos, and mustard and onions, and I'm sure there are other people that have a scent that they basically have labeled as body odor.
Well, you know, of course, we talked about this, that the old belief is that when white people, Caucasians, get wet, they smell like dogs.
Like wet dog.
Right.
Yep,
and
correct.
dogs' paws smell like corn chips.
Yeah.
And that is actually true.
Yeah.
So these different things. I don't know. We tend to be enamored of our own smell, right? To some extent.
Enamored with our own? Yeah. I mean, that's why the smell of your own farts is actually really good. It's a pleasant thing.
Not always.
Well, listen, you can
Every
blow,
single time.
You can blow yourself out every now and then.
No, you
but
can't.
you're pretty proud of it.
Well, yes, exactly. That's the fine distinction.
that's
Is
a
even though
prize winner right
it
there.
may be horrible, you're like, oh my God, I'm a champion.
I've had to leave the room from my own.
You've offended yourself with your own gas?
I didn't say I wasn't proud of it. I was like, man, that was strong enough to make me leave.
Did you walk out cursing yourself?
Yeah.
What kind of animal am I?
Kind of impressed.
I honestly, Nick, I didn't think that was possible. Like, I swear to God, the worse that it smells for you, the best that it smells for me.
Okay.
Like, if it's a really bad one, where I'm like, oh man, Preston's gonna be really
It's
mad.
like licking your elbow. It's almost impossible to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, but if you have one that's coming and you can tell by the
it's gonna be
by
bad.
the heat and so on or the pressure and you know it's going to piss me off, do you actually go, oh yeah, that's a good one?
No,
Okay.
no.
You don't take a little sneak sniff for yourself?
All right.
Oh, I always take it.
All right, we need to go.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I will say,
The cup and the have you cupped recently?
Sure.
Yeah.
Of course.
I never cup. I never got. No,
You don't have to.
I don't have to. I'm an old pro.
Amateurs.
It's also a good way to run a self-diagnostic.
Absolutely.
I mean, there's a lot of relevant medical material to be gleaned from assessing your own odors.
Like,
I'm trying to make a case for cupping your fart.
I know you are.
Like, I love giving myself a Dutch oven. Like,
really?
Oh, if it's a really bad one,
you'll pull the covers up.
Not only, I will just sneak under the covers. I'll be like, I'm just gonna lay here for a little bit.
Do you know what's equally fun,
You're a
Casey?
disgusting human.
Casey, crap in a pillowcase and pull it over your head.
Kathy, what do you think about the smell of your own gas?
I think you guys are disgusting humans right now.
I think
I
think you're a liar.
I think so too.
Okay, I'm pretty sure I'm not pulling the covers over my head and enjoying my own stench like Casey.
Yes, you are.
No.
No, she'll enjoy your stench.
1000%.
No, I don't think. We've talked about this before. You are very. I mean, obviously, the notion of passing gas liberally at home is not something that you do, correct?
You don't think I pass gas at home? Is that
No,
what you're
I
saying?
don't think you do. I don't think you stand in the middle of the room and go, ba-boom.
Yeah, he did it.
Hey, get over here!
I think you go into the conservatory.
Pull my finger.
Felicity alum. Felicity.
Tonight on a powerful Felicity. Felicity shows up late for a chemistry class.
I'm sorry. I thought it was an 8.
That's to go to detention.
Go to detention. Felicity.
Carrie Russell.
Carrie Russell. She, formerly of the long locks, who killed her career by cutting her hair, but has now grown her hair back and is doing great things with the American.
So Carrie Russell was Felicity.
Sound like
history in Russell.
It's Carrie Russell's history.
Presented by Rita that she grew her hair back, and it was wonderful.
Oh,
she plays a commie bitch who pretends she's one of us. And those commies.
In what?
In The Americans.
Oh, The Americans.
You don't watch that?
No,
She's a spy.
I don't watch that.
It's like that John Travolta, Kelly Preston movie.
Oh, yeah. You know, The Experts.
The Experts.
But she may join J.J. Abrams and Star Wars Episode 9.
We forget that it was J.J. Abrams who created and wrote a number of the
Felicity episodes.
I did forget that, yeah.
Yeah.
No word yet on whether she'll tackle a hero or a villain in the epic franchise. The movie begins shooting in London this month, by the way.
Unless we forget also that Carrie Russell won Mr. Skin's Best Butt Shot, I believe, in the Anatomy Awards.
Get a nice pooper.
No kidding. Casey says
got
she
a hell of a pooper. kind of butt you want to spend a weekend spelunking at, if you know what I'm saying.
And we are back from vacation.
We are.
So the...
Oh, yeah, this is nice. Is good stuff.
Look, there's some soccer players in there from Thailand.
So the kids are going to help you out.
You guys all right?
Wait, I see light from the badge.
Oh, God.
We can do this.
Wow.
It's a new survival story unlike any other.
Walk this way, kids. We go. Is it a stalagmite or a stalactite?
The tight or from the ceiling stalactite hang on top, and the mites are.
You know that?
Yeah, that's the old stalactite.
It's tight. It hangs on, and stalagmite might make it to the ceiling if it keeps growing. So.
And all of this is taking place in Felicity.
In Felicity's butt.
Okay, yeah.
Tex says, driving my kids to daycare, my 2-year-old is calling my 1-year-old a commie bitch. Thanks. Sorry about that.
Sorry.
Well, they're learning about a time in our history that was very important.
This is one of these meetings here with the town where people can get up and speak their mind. And this young man got up and he had a take on legalizing prostitution.
So I propose this. The city allows for licensed masseurs to give genital massages if the masseur and the client both agree to it. We let someone get naked and have every other part of their body touched and rubbed by a massage therapist. Hell, we let proctologists spend their day men and sticking things. So if someone wants to yank a guy's crank, I say let him.
Oh my God.
That really is as inspiring as FDR's speech on December 8th, 1941.
I love the last part of that. Hang on.
So if someone wants to yank a guy's crank, I say let him.
I say
And so I say to you, if someone wants to yank a man's crank, I say let them do it.
Okay.
And so by
is
this time,
legit?
well,
maybe.
You know what? I don't care. But he was definitely in front of this group. He was prepared. He seemed, and then he goes on. It's not just enough to state that's your intent or what you'd like to see happen.
Yeah.
You have to provide.
You got to back it up.
Examples.
Yeah, some context.
Some context to it. Yes.
Here's clip 2.
Picture this: a big old sweaty fat guy would get with your hand actually be that much worse than giving him a full body massage, getting up in there under the folds of fat, or being the proctologist sticking your finger.
Holy hell.
If a grown adult wants a job, another grown adult is willing to give one for money, then let them. That would truly be a happy ending for everyone.
Okay.
Oh my God.
The crowd loved it.
There is, I think, legitimacy to his claim, by the way. Are we going there or are we not going there?
I want to hear. What do you think?
I like the way you.
Casey started doing
becomes like a velociraptor all of a sudden.
His head was going left to right. Are we going here?
Well, yeah. I mean, dude, why is that illegal?
Rub and tugs?
Yeah.
There is that. This is an age-old question about the fact. Right before the Magna Carta came into being, there was the rub and tug.
I mean, there is a separation of church and state, right? So, is morality a church thing?
Wow, this got a lot deeper than I thought. We were simply playing a goofball, but you want to work out whether prostitution or the sex trade should be legitimized.
Well, maybe we should put them in malls.
Let's talk about abortion. Yeah. Let's lighten things up a bit.
Once you've starred in a movie that's nominated for an Oscar, it's safe to say that you're famous, right?
Yeah.
Well, Saoirse Ronan, who is 24 years old, still doesn't feel famous, though. Yeah, she's adorable.
Yeah.
I love her and the accent.
It's wonderful.
She's just thinking.
It's a garden party, asking inappropriate questions to Meghan Markle.
I love how they drop the G on ing words. Ronan continued saying she avoided reading about her. So she said,
I was farting.
What was that sound?
I was farting. Farting hard. You just know that'd be adorable. Just outside, standing in the glen, farting.
In the glen.
The glen. The morning dew collected on the leaves and grass. Yeah. Just decided it'd be a good time for farting. It does sound better, doesn't it?
Oh,
It does.
oh, it needs to be a song. We still have more giveaways to get to.
It's crazy.
I'll save a couple for the end. But right now, we're going to do today's lesson question. And for that, we have a 4-pack of gold tickets for Halloween nights at Eastern State Penitentiary to give away. So the question I think I'll go with was from 7:23 this morning. If Steve wins the lottery, how tall does he want his fancy and expensive water slide to be? 215-263-WMMR. How many stories tall? I should say that. Does Steve want his fancy and expensive water slide to be? 215-263-WMMR. If you heard that and you know, by all means, give us a call. We'll see if you can get the prize.
The trash business is a gold mine. 93.3 WMMR with Preston and Steve's Hollywood Trash.
Brought to you by College Ave. Take the stress out of paying for college with a private student loan built for your family's budget and goals. Get college covered today at collegeave.com. What's up this morning, Steve?
Well, the famed haunted house from the movie Poltergeist is being turned into a rental property on Airbnb. Potential guests will be asked if they're brave enough to spend a night in a house where they know the landlord is watching them go to the bathroom.
Oh, my God.
Danielle Brigoli, a.k.a. Bad Baby, has patched up a relationship with estranged father Iowa Peskowitz. Peskowitz says he had felt his daughter was no better than a low-grade prostitute, but was happy to learn she's become a high-grade prostitute. And finally, 84-year-old Al Pacino telling the New York Times that his 1-year-old son, Roman, is an inspiration. Pacino says he can't wait till he's 100 so he can teach Roman to drive.
All right.
right. Do you know the answer to this question? How many stories tall does Steve want his fancy and expensive water slide to be? And it is Brian that we go to first here. Hi, Brian. Morning, bud.
Yoo-hoo.
Yoo-hoo, Brian. All right. How many stories tall will that fancy water slide be?
Is it 50 stories?
50.
Tell me you wouldn't love that water slide.
We are going to give you a 4-pack of gold tickets for Halloween Nights at Eastern State Penitentiary. Now open select nights through November 9th. This Halloween festival of epic proportions features 5 thrilling haunted houses plus historic tours, themed bars, live entertainment, and more, all inside a real 10-acre abandoned prison. You can buy your tickets online and save for info and tickets. Visit HalloweenNights.org. Nick, I have a little something for you here.
Oh, yeah?
All right. Yeah, this is real quick, but here we go.
Good soup. Hot.
Did Marissa find that?
Marissa found it.
What a genius.
Here it is. This is the
full clip?
Yeah, we have the full clip, but that's where she found it.
Season 1, episode 2.
Wow. Oh, my goodness.
Around the World in 80 Years is what it was called. So we were talking about the show Wings and this line that Nick has always said, and it's good soup, hot. And this is the full clip.
I just love working here at the Ritz, rubbing shoulders with the cream of society, having conversations made up of one-syllable words.
Good soup. Hot.
That's great.
That's fantastic.
I love it. So she found it. Thank you, Marissa.
Thank you,
You're
Marissa.
Phenomenal. All right, music news.
Now, Preston and Steve's Music News on 93.3 WMMR.
All right, just a couple of things, and that is all we have for you today. We will start with Creed. They are headed back to the stage. The reunited group will perform with Seven Dust Saturday, November 28th. At Choctaw Casino and Resort in Durant, Oklahoma, and then do back-to-back shows on December 30th, 31st at the Coliseum at Caesars Palace in Vegas. Creed's first Vegas shows in over a decade. And it's a big year for Creed fans with the Are You Ready tour kicking off next month. Special guests 3 Doors Down, Mammoth WVH, and Finger 11.
That's a pretty good lineup for Creed.
Select dates, most definitely. And then just one other thing, and it is the fact that earlier this year, Lacuna Coil and guitarist Diego Cavallati went their separate ways, and the band's been playing with a masked mystery guitarist ever since. It didn't take a detective to figure out who was behind the mask, though, as Daniel Salamone announced that it's him on Instagram.
Who are you?
He said, I am so grateful to Lacuna Coil for this amazing experience. And he ended the post with his, so yes, guys, the Unknown Man, it's me. And the band has its first album in 5 years coming in February called Sleepless Empire. And then Casey had one more thing I should definitely mention. We are teaming up with Chris Jericho's Rock and Wrestling Rager at Sea and Sixth Man to give away an epic trip for 2. You can go to WMMR.com, and it's your chance to enter for a free spot for you and a guest aboard the ship, January 31st to February 3rd.
That's pretty cool.
The winner gets a balcony cabin for 2, private meet and greet with Chris Jericho, and access to all onboard shows and top amenities, plus airfare and pre-cruise hotel stay is covered too.
Can we send a correspondent? Because Kathy was asking about it.
I think Kathy could go, yeah. Must be at least 21 years of age to enter. You can go to WMMR.com to enter for it and get the contest rules as well. All right, as we take a break, we have had you text in the word Hershey Park for the secret text trivia.
Oh, boy.
And we now need an answer to the trivia question, which was sent to you if you did this texting. So, Kath, what number caller you want to do today?
7.
All right, 7th caller, 215-263 WMMR. Call if you know the answer. We'll come back in just a moment, and we will see if you got it. And we still have more things to give away before we're done for the day. We'll be back in a moment.
I was outside farting, dear. Farting hard.
There needs to be a song called Farting in the Glen.
Farting in the Glen.
We're excited, ladies and gentlemen, to have in our studio actor David Harbour.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I'm so excited I said good afternoon when it's 9:20 in the morning.
There are a bunch of footlongs outside the studio, which is like the 9 in the morning footlong, though.
Yeah. Do you know Pink's in Hollywood?
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
That's them.
Are those from there?
They just expanded
Oh,
to
well,
the
then
east.
bring me one. I mean, come on. It's still a hot dog.
Yeah, it's not a classic breakfast fare, but it works. It's very good.
We never actually get breakfast food here. It's always like
It's
that.
always a dinner thing,
Yeah.
but it all works.
And all that stuff.
We've been up since 3:45.
Yeah, exactly. So it is kind of
works
dinner
out.
for you guys.
David, where are you from? Where did you grow up?
I'm from White Plains, New York.
Know it well.
Yeah, do you know it?
I'm from New York, yeah.
Okay,
yeah, I know
Westchester County, like 45 minutes out from the city, suburban, very boring place to grow
But nice.
up.
If you work in the city, it's a nice area to be in.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I couldn't stand it when I was growing up because it's like that suburban thing, and you're like 14 years old and all you want to do is act out. And so I would take that Metro North train down to New York, though.
Oh, yeah.
When I was like 15. And, back then you could do a lot worse things than you can nowadays. We could go to bars. And I mean, they didn't have any of the rules they have nowadays.
So it wasn't the creative arts that were driving you to the city? It was the party?
I would tell my parents that I was going to the Metropolitan Museum of Art. So, yes, the arts were driving.
Yeah.
If my parents are listening.
Well, we're thrilled to have you in here.
Yeah.
We're massive Stranger Things fans, and we're also just massive fans of your body of work, which is just so much great stuff. And I think you've described yourself, or have been described, and I think you're the epitome of that guy for so long, who just is always, this guy's in it, this is going to be good. Yeah. And we have a sense that you've curated the things that you're in, and whether that's the truth or not, you just always end up in good stuff. And Stranger Things is just such a... no one could have figured this bizarre pop culture bank shot that took place.
Yes.
And that they went with, except for perhaps Winona Ryder, moderately known. Yeah. And it just took off. So when you got the script for the first time, I understand it blew you away, but did you think you were going to get it? You couldn't have had an idea it would be what it has become.
No.
Yeah.
The complete opposite, to be honest. I mean, the first thing is you get the script, and I thought it was a really good script. And so my first thought was there's no way they're going to choose me to be like the male adult lead in this. They'll get somebody who's a star. And so I kind of blew off the audition a little bit. I mean, I do what I do, but there was a relaxation in the audition where it was like, those situations where you think like this will never happen. So I might as well just do what I want to do.
And that must help. That must help
it does, because it makes you more relaxed. You have no expectations. You don't have a goal. You're just like doing what you do. And then I wound up getting it, and it was incredible. And then as we were shooting it, I remember around episode 4 or 5 having a bit of a breakdown and thinking, none of this works.
Really?
Really? Yeah. I mean, because I remember, Hopper's a really messy guy in many ways, like everything from his body to, his personality.
Well, the very first, my impression of your character was like, this guy's a douchebag, because she comes and says, my kid is missing, and he's like, he's out running around or whatever. I'm like, oh my God, he's going to be that guy.
Yeah.
He's more complex than that, and really cares. But you're right. He kind of had that really messy attitude about him, but he's the character morph. So initially you thought that wasn't going to translate?
Yeah, and so like around episode, I think it was 5 though, we were doing a scene, and I'm neurotic, and occasionally I'll ask people like, what'd you think? And I went up to my hair person, this woman Sarah, who's lovely person, but I was like, what do you think? And she just turned to me and just shook her head, and she was like, I don't think it's going to work.
Wow.
And I was like, what? You mean the whole thing?
Thanks for the confidence.
But I understood where she's got, you're in a bubble down there, and you just have these days where you're like, what we're doing is stupid. Nobody's going to like it. And then before the show came out, there was no advertisements.
No.
And I couldn't get an interview like this on a popular radio show. Like, nobody wanted to talk to me about this show.
That was the beauty of it. I found out about it through word of mouth.
Exactly.
So it started to catch. And it was that. Now, this actually speaks to, you were a child of the 80s.
Oh, yeah.
And a lot of people remember all of it's at once a tribute to the work of Stephen King, and it's this pop culture maelstrom of things that are all pulled together and
Spielberg,
to Spielberg, and shot in a way that all the things that we love, but done in a great way. So there'd be no way to know it. But the fact that it did happen that way organically, I think, made it more firmly entrenched, and that's why we're rabid for season 3.
You and the Netflix season 1 marketing department apparently had the same thought, because that's what that's what they claimed was I don't know if that's just a way of getting out of spending any money on the show, but they claimed that was kind of their strategy, was to have people discover it. And I have to say, it is very gratifying. It was very gratifying to have it be something that wasn't hyped at all. And just to have people stumble across it on Netflix, and then the social media aspect of it. They just told their friends, and it was all over like Facebook and Twitter. Like, what is this?
Yeah.
And I think in this world where everything is so hyped, it's nice to have ownership and discover something that almost feels like a little pearl you found in an oyster, like a surprise,
So let me ask you then, here's the conundrum now. Now it is a thing that's
I know, now we're talking about
right,
it. Oh,
right.
God.
But whereas season 2 is always, everyone's like going, okay, what season 2 kicked ass.
Yeah, I know.
And it was.
And guess what happens in season 3?
Traps the bed.
We jump the shark. No, it's my character gets on water skis.
Nice.
And literally
one of the
jumps
top,
in.
and there's a great white shark in the lake.
All right.
Who knew?
Yeah.
In Hawkins Lake.
Are you wearing a leather jacket?
I am.
Okay.
Surprisingly. No, honestly, I just finished, because they just sent me, because they like to send the finished episodes to everyone else before me.
Right.
But that's just no. But they just sent me all the episodes. I just finished them last night, actually, and it is so damn good.
Wow. The trailer
It is
alone.
so damn good, and you the end is.
How does it end? What happens?
Okay, so here's what happens.
You're making up the chart.
Yeah. By the way, I would like to correct you on one little thing. Prior to this, the first season coming out, we totally would have had you on our show.
You're a liar.
No.
You are in some of our favorite things.
When the first trailer for Black Mass came out, and the dinner scene with you and Johnny Depp, and I'll just sort of leave it at that, because I know you wanted to hit on this, Steve.
Oh no,
like,
we're gonna go over all your stuff, because we're big fans. But yes, no, Casey's right. We were fans before Stranger Things. It just cements the adoration. But to that point, you go through these things. This has been your quantum leap.
Yes.
I mean, but you were that kind of guy. You were on Broadway and you working that whole deal. When you went in to I know you had an issue with working with kids initially, right? Because kids can be a liability, right?
Initially.
I mean, because I find. You've got to get the right. I'm so quick to hate a kid in a thing. if he's, you know what I'm saying? If he's
I do know what you mean. I know exactly.
You got to get a Haley Joel Osment. You got to get somebody who really gets it. These
and we
kids
got
are
like
great.
6 of them.
Yeah.
I know. I know.
And so they never. The old thing is never work with animals or kids.
Yeah. But you and I are the same age, right? So when I look at this cast,
Are you 75?
born in '75.
No, 1975. No.
So you were born on my brother's birthday in 1975.
Oh,
I
wow.
saw that. I turned 44 on the 4th of July. So
Wait.
Yeah.
I was born on your brother.
my brother was born in '73.
Oh, 73. I was like,
Don't try to
wow,
work it out.
2 months apart? Brother, how did that happen? Something with test tubes and cloning or something.
It's right out of Stranger Things.
Yeah, exactly.
It's the upside down.
You and I and Nick, actually, as a matter of fact, we're all contemporaries. So we grew up with the same movies. So there are movies that came out in the 80s that still work.
Jelly Roll on 93.3 WMMR. The song's called Liar. It is 10:28. We are the Preston and Steve Show. It is Tuesday morning. It's a beautiful day today. Getting ready to wrap up our program. Not before we do. A few things that need to be taken care of before we retire for the day. And one of those things is get a winner with this Hershey Park Secret Text Trivia Contest that we have going on.
Yeah.
So we were looking for caller number 7. Kathy called out for it. And that is Betsy. So, Betsy, you're on the air. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
All right, Betsy, I'm not even going to ask the question. What's the answer to the Hershey Park Secret Text Trivia, please?
Estate of Evil.
The Estate of Evil is correct. Now, the question that was asked is, which haunted house at Hershey Park features a nod to the 7 deadly sins? Oh, I love it. And that would be the Estate of Evil. So, Betsy, we're going to give you a 4-pack of tickets to enjoy. So congratulations to you.
Thank you.
You bet. And don't forget that Hershey Park's Halloween and Dark Nights are back. And you can enjoy trick-or-treating, thrilling coaster rides, spooky haunted houses. And you can buy your tickets now at HersheyPark.com. So we put her on hold, but what's the story with Elizabeth here? Let me go to her. Hi, Elizabeth on the Xfinity mobile guest line. Can you hear me, Elizabeth?
I can.
We have a lot of excitement in your voice. Could you please enlighten us as to why?
I just won $1,000.
How about that? $1,000. Nice job, Elizabeth. Tell us a little bit about you. Where you're from? What do you do?
Hamilton, New Jersey, retired. I'm working on my lawn right now, and I listen to you on my headphones while I'm working.
I love it. You know what? Get AstroTurf now. You don't have to worry about it.
Yeah, just spend that grand on fake grass. You're good to go. No, Elizabeth, you've been listening to MMR for a long time?
Oh, my whole life.
I love
Since
that.
I moved down here.
All right, well, the least we can do is give you $1,000. So where did you move here from, by the way?
North Jersey in 1978.
Wow.
Must have been very jarring to move from North Jersey to Philadelphia.
The culture change, the language, the topography, and all that.
It is a world of difference.
I mean, you had to embrace human sacrifice when you moved here.
All right, Elizabeth, we're very happy for you. Congratulations. All right, hang on the line. There goes another winner, $1,000.
Money. Take the money.
Gotta take it.
Take the money.
And it's brought to you by Horizon Services. You have another chance to win coming up in a little while. Noon is the next opportunity. Then what else do I need to do? Oh, Tattoos Day. Why don't we give away that? We got a winner there. His name is Nick Woodruff. Nick Woodruff of Lansdale. He was very excited to find out that he won the $350 gift certificate from Floating World Tattoo and Piercing. Apparently, his dad passed away a year ago tomorrow, and now he wants to immortalize him.
Wonderful.
In the ink. He has to include us as well.
Yes.
That's part of the agreement when you get a Preston and Steve Show themed tattoo, but we'll hopefully join Dad somewhere on your body. And if you would like to check out Floating World Tattoo, they are at 1729 South Street in Philadelphia. Artwork samples available at floatingworldtattoos.com and on Instagram at Floating World Tattoos. Thank you to our guests. We had the entire group of Wooten brothers in this morning. We had Reggie, Roy, Joseph, and Victor all here in our studio. They are some of the finest musicians in the world. And they are performing at Ardmore Music Hall tonight, 7:30, ardmoremusichall.com. Then we had a great conversation with Jason Alexander and Peter Tilden. They host a podcast called Really? No, Really. And they were great. And they also had a huge fan in the interview that we followed up right after that. I even conferenced him in during the interview. Actor Steven Weber was on the show, too. And promoting Chicago Med, which you can catch Wednesdays at 8 p.m., on NBC. And we're not done giving stuff away either. I got another thing that we'll do before we are finished, but not before we announce the triumphant return of Pierre Robert.
Hey, good day, good day.
Nice to see you, sir.
Nice to be seen.
Rested, relaxed?
Yes, where are we in the A to Z? L.
Yes, we're in L right now. Yeah, L.A.
For love.
Yeah, but no, we're doing all right, and we hope you had a good time, man.
Thank you. Lovely time, and back and ready to rock.
All right, man.
Were you in California?
I was.
Yeah, there you go.
Went to Lake Tahoe and to San Francisco, back and forth, and carried on.
Nice.
Somewhere in your travels, did you manage to store a letter that we could get from you?
I did. In fact, I brought it from the blue waters of Tahoe.
Ooh,
nice.
Beautiful. Here we go.
Preston and Steve on 93.3 WMMR.
Now, the Daily Letter.
All right, the Preston and Steve Show is brought to you today by the letter
L as in lake.
All right, perfect. L. And we have a $1,000 gift card courtesy of Paramount Pictures Smile 2. Opening in theaters, and that will be on October 18th. We'll give that away on Friday. What do you have in store? Getting back into the swing of things here
Well,
today.
we've got the good money. Much longer are we going with the good money?
I don't know. I think through next week.
Wow. It's a long run with this
It
thing.
sure
That's
is,
a lot
yeah.
of money we've given away. By the way, speaking of giveaways, while you're giving away the tattoo, do you have any idea how many tattoos you've given away?
We have no idea. We can kind of guesstimate from the point at which we started, but it's a lot. It's far more than we ever thought we'd get.
I mean, thousands, wouldn't you say? I mean, certainly 1,000,
Definitely
maybe
hundreds.
2,000.
Oh, I think thousands.
Maybe, yeah.
It's been a long time. I mean, once a week for 12 days for 15 months times 7 equals several thousand.
Several thousand.
Yeah. I
get out
will
of that.
conduct more math class as the day goes on. We'll have good money at noon. And then at 3 o'clock again, we've got Workforce Blocks of Coldplay, AC/DC, and a very, very special anniversary of the good old Grateful Dead. So a block of the dead.
You know, the other day I was trying to do simple math with my daughter. I was trying to figure out how long it would take to walk across the United States. And so we were doing the same thing.
How do you figure that out?
Well, I was figuring walk 3 miles an hour, right, for 8 hours a day. So it's 24 miles a day into 2,800. And then you got to realize that you're not going to be walking for 24 hours a day. So it ended up it would be somewhere in the neighborhood of about 116 days to walk across the country.
Oh.
Yeah. So that's going to be my next stunt.
Yeah, you did the drive. You should do the walk now.
Let's get started.
Please, let's get started. All right, before we wrap up, I'm going to give away the last one of these, a pair of tickets to join Steve and Casey at Dorney Park Halloween Haunt for an exclusive backstage tour of the Haunt makeup costume, the whole deal. It is Friday the 18th. We'll take caller number 22 at 215-263-WMMR because Haunted Halloween Haunt at Dorney Park is back with a vengeance. Select nights through October 28th. Hundreds of terrifying ghouls and ghosts ready to turn your nightmares into reality. You can visit DorneyPark.com today.
They have audio from inside one of the haunted houses if you want to hear it.
Man.
Yeah.
That person hated it.
Yeah.
Terrifying.
We're not even moving.
You're right. You're
scary.
just walking.
But that was at Dorney Park.
Yeah, it Sure was.
The Scream originated at Dorney Park. Let me see. Let me thank our sponsors. President Steve Show brought to you today by Dunkin', and the President Steve Show runs on Dunkin'. Also brought to you by Acme Markets, the official supermarket of the Philadelphia Eagles. And Leaf Home. They make home ownership easy. Tomorrow on our program, Fox Good Day, secret text word. And Warren Haynes will be in our studio.
He is so cool.
Excellent.
One of the nicest men in music, and God, he's talented.
That's phenomenal. So that and more. That's it. We're done. Rage on. Have yourself a great day, and we'll see you tomorrow, friend. Bye-bye.
Preston and Steve on 93.
Mm-hmm.